Welcome to this, our illustrious show.
Lustier?
Illustrious show.
I thought this was the horny episode. I was pretty sure we already did that one.
This is a pretty horny episode. We'll talk about it.
It's going to be.
It's about, this is a complicated show.
Hosted by complicated boys.
Complicated boys, and right now, let's just dive into that love dodecahedron that is VISSER.
VISSER. They can't tell you their names. They can't tell you where they live, but in the mid to late 90s, these 5 teenagers can turn into animals to fight an invading army of evil brain slugs. 5 dumb teens are the only thing standing in the way of complete annihilation. This is Anamorphing Time with Nate and Tyler.
Get your hand off my girlfriend, you yerk-brained bastard!
This is for Daddy. Make it like half the bottle.
Catherine Alice Applegate wouldn't want this. Doesn't want this. Blah, 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 blah.
And they're like, no, stop shooting at children.
Oh man, being 12 was weird.
Joining us today for VISSER, I'm going to use your word,
Okay.
illustrious dodecahedron of a person. The person claimed this book very early on, and given that they did a bunch of art for us, we're like, yeah, do whatever you want. You can cuck Nate. You can beat up any of the other co-hosts. Like, if you want, we could re-record an old episode just to make fun of them.
Wait, hold on. How can you cuck me? I'm not in a relationship.
Loser, you don't have a girlfriend. Welcome to Anamorphing Time. Welcome, Bug. Welcome.
Hi, nice to be here.
It's great to have you.
I'm uncuckable. Can't be done.
Can't cuck me if I don't care. So, Bug, welcome to Anamorphing Time. Tell us who you are, what you do, and what's your history with Animorphs.
Cool. So I am just a person on the web for the most part.
We're all that.
Yeah, unfortunately. You can't escape it. So I am an ex-animator. I now work for the drug manufacturing industry.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because that's where the money and the benefits are at.
Mm-hmm.
So not me, but down the hallway, we're actually working on your mRNA vaccines. I'm the one putting the, stamp on the microchips for you.
Oh, thank
Not
God.
quite, yeah. No.
Thank
we do
God.
a different thing, but...
all 3 of my shots.
Excellent. Third one's very important. That's the one that connects to Wi-Fi.
So my hospital has started offering COVID vaccines now, and I've given a few, and every part of the standard procedure for it is we observe them for half an hour afterwards just to make sure nothing bad happens. And I always tell them, it's like, is your phone working better? And they're like, what? And it's like, come on, you know why you got this, right? I love
for the
messing
5G,
with people.
right?
Yeah, for the people who are just now getting the vaccine, they were super hesitant and didn't trust it. I love to fuck with them. Fuck them. Yeah,
but is the 5G really the popular one?
Is it? Because I've only ever had used phones, so I have no, everything I've ever owned runs 5 generations behind what we're at right now, so I have no clue what's the standard.
I don't even understand what 5G is. It's like internet that we already had that's better. What'd they do? New cords? Who knows?
Listen.
I'm stupid.
It don't matter. None of this matters.
None of it matters. Yeah, none of this matters. End of episode. VISSER did it.
Cell phones are very important in this episode, though.
You already did a
true.
self-own when you said you didn't have a girlfriend. Boom! Coming in hot for VISSER. Coming in hot.
The 1G of quality on that joke.
So, Bug, sorry. Please, what is your history with Animorphs? We totally took you off the rails there.
No, this is good. I didn't really know what to say anyways.
Gonna start drinking now.
Oh, we're gonna start drinking. Okay, open that bottle
I've been
of
on
wine.
it for a while, trust me. Let's see. I think pretty typical introduction. My middle school had quite a bit of the early books and then random spatterings of kind of the later ones.
Okay.
And I was one of those kids who really loved to read to the extent where you'd smuggle it into class and hide it under the desk, and you sat in the back with all the bad kids, but you didn't really.
Yes, the
teacher
bad
didn't
kids
bother
reading
you.
books.
Yeah, bad kids reading books. The teacher didn't bother you because you weren't actually stirring up any trouble.
There's that little fucker Bug back there with the bad kids.
No, I got in trouble.
Can't trust him.
I got in trouble a lot, actually, because I was supposed to be doing homework and stuff. Instead, I was reading The Hitchhiker's Guide.
Yeah, big same, but Del Toro Quest and shit.
I was sitting in the back because I was a bad kid.
Yeah? You were a bad boy?
I was the bad boy. No, I sat in the back, but I couldn't see because we couldn't afford glasses, so I'm just there squinting like,
Big same. I didn't realize I was blind until like 7th grade when I was like, my parents like, hey, he's sitting real close to that TV. You know, and it turns out.
And honestly, that was the first time your parents ever noticed you.
Yeah, I was blocking the TV.
Why am I being so mean to you today?
I don't know. You're full of that piss and vinegar.
I was chugging piss before I got here,
I have a great story about that because they thought
chugging
I
piss?
was no, not that about being blind. They thought when I was like in 4th grade or something that I like needed glasses because I just like wasn't paying attention or anything. They just thought I couldn't see the board or whatever. They took me in for like an eye test and they're like, she's fine, just like cut her hair, her bangs are in her face.
Cut her hair?
She has ADHD, it's fine. And now it's like, 10 years after that, I like was staring at a screen 24/7 and
Right.
now I get to wear these all day.
Yeah. The eye doctor's like, look, I did my part. The eyes are fine. It's the brain that's fucked. Get her out of my office.
They look pretty round to me. What do you want?
Yeah. Ophthalmologist like, yeah, we love old round eyes here.
That must be a great job, right? Because like you're not really that responsible for anything like life or death. Like you just put like iodine drops in people and like tell them not to flinch like a pussy, and then like
No,
tell them they need
have
these
that one
expensive
story.
frames.
Yeah.
They have that one story where, like, I saved a life, you guys.
Yeah. This machine's going to blow air in your eyes. That'll be $600,000 a year, please.
So brave.
Yeah, this one goes out to all the ophthalmologists out there. This one's for you.
Yeah.
VISSER.
Post.
Healthcare hero.
What are you drinking, Bug? We're having Nate's cheapest red wine.
That's okay. I'm having the most lower middle shelf thing they had at Trader Joe's. Kiwi Bay Sauvignon Blanc 2019.
How do you know that wine is fancy? I honestly
don't.
have no clue.
I don't know.
That
Hey,
it was like not $5.99, it was like $6.99.
I will never spend more than $15 on wine.
Well, Tyler, give it the old sideways. Just like, really.
Oh, pull my penis out and chase Paul Giamatti? Is that the old sideways? Oh, wait. Thomas Hayden Church the one that got chased. Sorry. Correction, corner. It was Thomas Hayden Church who got chased by the naked guy in Sideways.
Oh, there's just like the faintest soupçon of like asparagus, and there's just a flutter of like a nutty Edam cheese. Wow.
Everyone, Sideways is a movie from 2004.
I just want to apologize. I want to do better and get my Sideways details right.
Okay, well, describe this wine. What does this wine tell you?
That's red.
Okay. What kind of undertones does it have? Does it have jammy undertones? Is it
Jamie undertone.
jammy? Is it jammy?
I don't. Tastes like fucking red wine. It's like alcoholic grape juice. Who cares? I'm gonna piss off so many people. I don't care.
No, you're right. I mean, like I like the wine buzz, but like let's be real, it don't taste good.
It's
Don't.
like some wine is good, but I'm not going to be like, oh, it's a very smoky, leathery mouthfeel, whatever, tannins. Don't care. Don't care.
It's got a Welch's aftertaste. And you know what? I dedicate this wine to Max Leach and all the students at Roosevelt High School in Lubbock, Texas. This wine is for you. And this book is for you. VISSER is for you.
VISSER is for you. Bug, shut up, Nate. Bug, why did you want VISSER?
So this is actually the first Animorphs book I actually bought. All the other ones I got from the library, but this one had just such a beautiful, sexy cover on it, and I had a little bit of an awakening at the time. You have this beautiful buff centaur man, and I don't know, what version of this do you guys have?
Nate's got online. I've got holographic cover.
Ooh,
Yeah.
mine's not holographic, but I do have the hardcover. Do you notice that when you flip it over onto the other side,
The eyes are looking at you.
the eyes are looking at you? And
Look at that.
I didn't know that.
As a very what's the word? Impressionable and easy to impress child, I was like, "Whoa, this is some meta breaking shit right
Yeah,
here."
I was also a stupid child and thought this was very cool.
Here's why this cover is cool, is because he can look down on you without lowering his chin. You know, the chin's always high, but he's still looking down on you.
Yeah, we got our catty, lovely bitch, VISSER 3, looking down at you, arms crossed, looking buff and hot as hell.
Giant hooves.
Sorry, go ahead.
Just big old hooves. Like, you know, I didn't realize how monstrous those stompers were.
Yeah, and it would behoove us to jump right in, don't you think?
So there is actually a fun fact I do have about this cover,
Ooh, let's
which
hear it.
is that this was apparently commissioned before the book was written. And the story was actually initially supposed to be featuring VISSER 3 and his perspective. Kathy Apples got bored with it or something. She wasn't into it, and she decided, you know what? I think there's something more to write about VISSER 1 in this one. So that is actually our protagonist.
Yeah, it is. It's a great choice because, one, we got the VISSER 3 story. It's called The Andalite Chronicles. It's fine. It was good. We loved it. It's an excellent book. Why am I angry?
Well, I also wouldn't want a VISSER 3 book. Like, the less you know more about him, the more you love him.
Yeah, you don't want him to be compelling. Like, this is a pure villainous being. Like, you love to see him do his thing. I don't want to know why he does it.
Right.
Yeah, there are no complex motivations with VISSER 3 at all.
No, he's like, I want to be that. I want to be strong.
He wants to be strong and brave.
Book would just be, I think, like 5 pages long, and it would be like, this is a good time for me.
Yeah,
and I sliced this guy's head off, and that was my beautiful day.
I cut everyone in half. I love being me.
I strike what I said earlier. I'd like to read his diary. Not necessarily like his autobiography or what he feels, but just more of just like, today I decapitated a tiger and successfully conquered you in court. Like, just bullet points. That's all I want.
Oh, God. I should start tweeting as VISSER 3. That'll be fun.
Yeah. You know, just bullet points of your day.
Right.
Today I killed a Ged. Didn't make me feel good. I should kill more next time.
Yeah, I didn't kill enough Geds today.
But yeah, you're right. This isn't a story about VISSER 3. It's a story about VISSER 1, V1, the original.
Edris
Elba. And we start with a prologue, and that's how you know it's going to be a good book. Is that you get a prologue, you know we're setting things up for a nice time.
Bible, no prologue, bad book.
I thought there was a prologue to the Bible.
Is there?
I mean, it was in the beginning, is how it starts. So, can you go before that?
I take it back. Bible, a great book.
VISSER, great book.
Better than the Bible.
Yeah,
that certainly won't make anyone mad.
So the prologue, Marco is sick.
Mm-hmm.
He has some sort of illness that
he's got a virus.
He's got some sort of virus. We don't know what that. We don't know what virus that is. And Marco's mom decides, like, well, okay, I guess I'll just step outside and just casually go to the marina because I guess they're loaded. The dad's an engineer, and I think the prologue's good because Edris, VISSER 1, immediately stamps Marco as a kind, weak child destined to fail. A good-looking kid, but small. Admittedly,
that's what's on a Catholic priest dating profile. That's what they want.
Yeah, you know, handsome.
I'm going hard for religion today.
Yeah, we'll have some conversations about that later.
Yeah, nobody's safe. You hear that, Jews? Ooh. Oh God, yeah, I didn't like that one. Yeah, I take it back.
Already in his early adolescence, the stamp of failure was on him. He was too sweet-natured and trusting to ever make it far in a hard world. A world that will only grow harder for humans.
Oof.
Much harder if I had my way. That's a nice little saucy snap at the end there.
Yeah, this establishes VISSER 1, Edris, as a strong, tough bitch, and I love it.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, yeah, he's sweet, but I'm strong. Hey, do you need anything? I'm going to go Dexter. It's a good prologue because she's like, I love to sail. Anybody can drive a boat with a motor, but this takes skill and subtlety, which is what I possess.
Very Master and Commander.
Is that what Master and Commander's about?
It's about sailing.
I thought it was about weevils.
Well, you know, It's about the hardship of nature and overcoming it, and just like, sometimes people die, and that's fine. Still gotta conquer the sea.
Yeah, and Visser 1 conquers the sea
until she does not.
until she does not.
On purpose. It was on purpose, you guys.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Nate. Everything. Sorry, I'm not gonna be mean to you anymore. I'm gonna be nice.
The Visser 1 defenders logged on. It's me.
Yeah.
And she's gonna need it because she's on trial.
Yeah, she's on trial. She got turned into a Two-Face. She got burnt up, broken down. Last time we saw Visser 1, she was being kicked off a cliff by Jake.
She's had a hard week?
Yeah,
period of time.
It's been a few weeks, yes.
Because after she got kicked off and recovered from that cliff, she immediately got imprisoned by Visser 3, and presumably been kicked, shot, starved, treated well, and then starved.
Yeah, then laughed at, then taunted.
Yeah,
she's had a hard week.
Yeah, it's not been a great time for Visser 1.
And so we get a recounting of the other books you might have missed, right? Because Visser is considered an optional book here, right? I assume. Even though it really shouldn't be. This is core canon,
I agree.
Right?
I think this is part of the reason I picked this book, actually. I think it's one of the most essential to understanding what is happening with the war in general, kind of is, because it gives you so much backstory and why the Yeerks are here and
right
everything, really.
Yeah, that's probably why we get a recounting of the other very important book, the Andalite Chronicles.
Yeah, and it's the first time they completely lay out and explain the Yeerk hierarchy, which is kind of interesting. There's a council of 13 with a secret leader, I guess.
Yeah, I guess they also just randomly have taxons in there.
Yeah.
And
who are constantly being fed fresh meat. I love that. It's they got to be right here, otherwise they'll eat everybody.
Oh, you scamps.
I assume, right, it's when you're stoned a little bit, right, and you just have all the food you could ever want right in front of you because you planned ahead like a smart person.
Yeah.
And it's just the constant high of just stuffing your face full.
God, it must be nice to be a taxon, constantly stoned and eating.
Yeah, but you can't stop though. That's the problem.
Who would want to stop?
You gotta have some control. One of these Council of 13, though, I guess, is the Supreme Leader, which, okay, book, whatever you say. I'm sure they'll be important later. And also, they're cool and they're shadowed behind holograms.
Yeah,
and,
Venture Brothers style. Everybody hidden in the shadows.
We know what this is. We've seen this scene.
Yep.
We watched a Superman before. It's shadowy organization. We get it.
Yes.
And so Visser 1 is on trial for crimes of being incompetent.
Yeah.
And a goofus and a traitor.
Yes, that's the big one.
That's the big one, is the traitor, not goofus.
Yes, charged with the following crimes: treason by incompetence, which carries a sentence of death by Dracon Beam; treason by violation of established procedure, which carries a sentence of death by Dracon Beam; treason by sympathy with a subject species, which carries a sentence of death by Kandrona starvation; treason by contact with the foul Andalite race, which carries a sentence of death by torture; treason by murder of subordinate Yeerks, which carries a sentence of exile of punishment duty.
That last one, seems a bit light.
Yeah, it's you killed your underling, go be Judge Dredd. Go wander the desert.
Yeah.
Community service.
Sounds all right to me. Get some sun.
And Jesus.
So she's on trial, but this quickly pivots to her main counter strategy, which is hey, Visser 3 also sucks, and here's why.
Yeah.
Which works surprisingly well. She lays out that Visser 3 really has been incompetent, which is one of the greater crimes here, right? Is that if
it's the biggest one. It's you're incompetent. That's why you're on trial.
Right. If you are a goofus, then you get Dracon beamed. That's the result of that. You get blasted.
Man, hope that never happens to you. You get blasted so fast, you idiot. Stupid.
Yeah.
Goofus.
Probably.
Fucker. Dumb.
I thought you said he'd be nice today.
He's being nice by calling me a goofus. He could be way worse.
I lied.
I'm the gallant here, goofus.
You can't call me that. You're the goofus. Oh, this is how the trial goes.
Yeah, I mean, this is the trial, right? Like, they're just like, constantly like, no, you're stupid. Here's why. No, you're even stupider. And so we get that back and forth. But ultimately, we need to have like a hard place to start. So this is where we start with the brain dumps. Now, brain dumps, I guess, are a thing that you regularly have to do if you're like a sub-visser, right? But if you're a visser, baby, you don't need to do nothing.
You don't have to brain dump.
You don't have to, write anything down. You don't have to, like, have your emails read.
Yeah.
You can just kind of send them out and not worry. You can say what you want because you're too powerful to really be held accountable for anything. So.
Yes. Wow, I wonder where they got that idea.
I don't know.
The leaders don't have to keep any records of anything, ever.
Yeah.
In Yerk culture.
So we get brain dumps of the then sub-visser.
Yeah.
Right? And
she is a brutal badass bitch.
Yeah,
sub-visser.
So we do a little chapter warp here to her sub-visser some number on this like weird backwater planet where she's like, roughing up the underlings on their first day.
Yeah. No, like Visser Idris, we'll call her Idris Elba.
Yeah.
Lines these fuckers up and says, "You're on my turf now. Now, can anyone tell me what we're doing here?" And she set these verbal traps. She set them because she knows the Geds can't really talk. They're too stupid. She knows that the Hork-Bajir mix up language, and she says, if anyone makes a mistake, I'll gut you. I'll kill all of you. I'll kill you so hard your family dies. I'll fuck you up. And so she's like, what are we doing? Boom, you're dead. She immediately kills a Ged and pulls the Yerk out of the ear. And she does this on purpose. She's like, I've been giving this speech for fucking years because it tells my subordinates that, one, I'm a badass boss bitch who will cut you. And two, it breeds loyalty. If you want people to be loyal to you, you find the weakest, dumbest one and you kill them.
No, the strongest, most confident one. Because if you're strong and confident, you're going to try to answer that.
So she establishes herself as the brutal boss bitch of this backwoods planet on the hunt for a new species. Target acquisition. That's what she says. She's doing target acquisition.
She's like, there are 5 classes of alien. Tyler, what are the 5 classes?
Well, you got...
By the way, if you mess this up, I will kill you.
Okay, all right. Class 1, we can't really inhabit them, like a Skritnaw.
Yeah, they suck.
They suck. Skritnaw suck.
Yeah, because, they change shape and that would kill us. So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Class 2.
Oh, God.
Die!
Yeah, so there are 5 classes, and the one that Visser...
I can answer Class 2 for you. Class 2, they can be infested, but they suck real hard.
Like the Geds.
And the Taxons are also Class 2. Because they suck. I guess they do have an ear hole. Sure. Yeah, but they suck, though, because they're always hungry, and they'll just,
Yeah, their urges overpower the Yerk inside.
Yeah, you don't want to be one. Mm-hmm. Class 3, those are your standard Hork-Bajir. They can be infested, but suffer no physical debility. Right, so they can control themselves, but also they're not quickly to breed. I guess breeding is important here.
Hell yeah, brother.
I took it just as that their populations are kind of low, and they're going to bounce them up real quick.
T-Bug's smarter than us. We were like, yeah, this is about fucking. This is a book about fucking.
It is a book about fucking.
Yeah.
It's true. 4, excellent, but they're too strong.
Yeah,
they're too buffed up, and we can't. We can't.
4, they're buffed, and we can't do it.
The Andalites. Yeah, because they're too strong and brave.
And then Class 5. There's a bunch of weak assholes we can take over.
Not too weak.
But not too weak.
But weak in mind, but strong in body and senses.
Submissive and breedable.
Yes.
That's what the Yerks are after.
They want that Class 5. They want that trad wife.
Trad?
I don't know. Listen, I'm trying to play along.
Excuse me?
They want a trad wife.
Okay.
Listen, I don't know.
Okay.
I know the language of the weirdos online, but I try to copy it, but I don't know. It sounds weird when you say it in real life.
Yeah. The Yerks are hunting for Ben Shapiro's sister and Elizabeth Brunig. Did I get those references right?
I guess. I don't know. It's all dumb.
Yeah. So they're hunting for a plentiful, easy to infest species, lots of numbers, easy to fuck, and can also fight.
Yeah. They want the Wagyu beef.
Wagyu beef
of the beef world.
Yes. Sure.
Perfect analogy. Nailed it. Got it. Class 5. Here we go.
Class 5.
Class 5 beef. All right. So, and just as it so happens, guess who shows up? Because she gets relocated to the Taxon homeworld, right?
I mean, yeah, she's going to be reassigned. She's got an incompetent leader who hates how plucky and strong she is.
Yeah.
That's when she hears of what happens in the Andalite Chronicles.
That's right. Holy shit. There was a whole human there.
2 of them.
Right? And through like various mix-em-ups, she learns that there might be a planet called Earth. That, well, we know it's called Earth.
Yeah.
There might be a planet of humans out there. She doesn't know exactly where. So she needs help figuring out where this planet is, and this is where we meet our next key character in this story, Essam.
Yeah.
Essam shows up, and Essam is VISSER, sub-VISSER so-and-so's little underling.
Yes.
The number 2 to her number 2.
We learned some interesting stuff before we meet Essam in that Yerks, the Yerk powers that be, the Council of 13, anyone in a VISSER or a sub-VISSER role, they all gank and just murder their underlings, and that's not allowed. They know that. This book goes out of its way to establish that all of the high-ranking Yerks break all their own rules, but no one gets punished for it because you only get punished if you're stupid and you get caught.
Yeah.
And it's making a strong point early on that, people in power are corrupt and greedy and destructive and awful.
I feel like it even goes beyond that because they even say something along the lines of, like, we know that all of our higher up VISSERs have done things in order to get to their position. So it's almost more like, hey, you have to be a huge dick and have murderous intent and disrespect for your subordinates in order to reach any kind of power in the first place.
Like, you got to be a shithead. Is this a salient point to be made in a kid's book that people in power need to be dirty and corrupt to get their power?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
Bug, what do you think?
It honestly kind of shaped my view of politics for a long time, probably in a detrimental way, in that I was like, oh yeah, we're always going to be voting or, campaigning for people who are definitely going to have dirty laundry. That's just part of it.
And we're expected to accept it. Yeah. We have to accept it because their tie is blue or red or they say Black Lives Matter or whatever.
Yeah, even that they're just like, all right, well, I hate everything they do, but there's one thing, that may be important to me, and that's the thing that, I got to suck up and put the check mark next to, so.
Yeah, theme number 1 of this book is the nature of power. Those that are in power have done things to get the power. And, and it's not because they are the best at their job, it's because they're the most ruthless in their getting of power. Right, and once they have their power, they're able to protect themselves.
Yeah,
right?
Because everybody does all the same shit, and they protect each other.
Yeah, there's a class, we call them VISSERs, and they have a sort of class solidarity to them, right?
Yeah, it's a council.
Well, no, they compete against each other, but there are certain lines that do not get crossed.
Yes.
One, like the brain dump, or there's certain ways to protect their position once they reach a certain rank. And getting to that rank, you got to backstab. You got to lie, cheat, and steal to get there.
Oh, God. I want to get there.
Okay, well, let's get there. Because the one way that we can get there, check this out. I have this hot new Class 5 species, right? Some people might want that. I can tell them where it is for a little bit of a promotion.
Yeah.
See? So what if I were just to to sneak off and get that info for myself and maybe not tell my my immediate supervisor that I'm off to do that.
Go grab my most submissive and breedable underling.
Yeah.
And let's go on a trip to Coochie Dip.
Yeah, let's just go on that trip. It's that way somewhere, I'm sure of it.
Yeah. They literally just be like, well, there's a couple options. Let's just pick one. Essam, pick a place. We'll go there.
Essam does all the work, by the way.
Yes, Essam does all the work.
He figures out where this planet is. It's like, oh, it's in this sector. He flies the ship.
Yeah.
That's why he's along, is because he's able to do all the things to get to this planet.
Yes, she picks him for a few good, like, if, all right, anybody out there looking to be the next VISSER 1, here's what you need to do. You find the most useful, submissive idiot you can, and you exploit them to meet your needs.
Not stupid. This person can't be stupid.
Well, compromised in some fashion.
If they're incompetent, they get shot. We found out.
Yes,
so.
that's true. So find someone who's compromised. And Essam was compromised. He was promoted to the rank of sub-visser, but he made a bad judgment of some kind, and they demoted him. So he's got the stink of failure on him.
You thought it was a bad judgment?
Well, that's what they say. That's how they lay it out.
What do you think actually happened?
He had a conscience.
Yeah, I think he's a nice boy, and he did a nice thing.
Yeah,
and that was read as like a weakness of know, and so like down you go.
You find someone
the unforgivable crime of having like a conscience during wartime.
Yes, right. And you look, bossy pants is out there. Find that, exploit it. Yeah, maybe there's an Animorphs podcast host who's made some bad decisions, who would be willing to, I don't know, help you meet your goals and get you pregnant a little bit. Nate, is that you?
Yeah. Yep, that's me.
Look, if anyone wants Nate to bust in him and make a baby, hit up Animorphin Time. We're ready. I'm ready for Nate to be a dad.
Thanks.
I'm sorry.
So we get this like gang of goof 'em ups.
Yeah,
right?
Gang of two.
We get the gang of two. Idris and Essam together forever. And they pop into, they find Earth, and then they like, okay, listen, we're gonna observe Earth at a distance for a little bit, kind of see what's going on, see if they're a class 5 submissive and breedable, or a class 4 big, strong, and afraid.
Yeah,
I'm afraid of them.
Yes. And they just start watching TV. Yeah, the planet is emitting X-rays. It's emitting radio waves. It's emitting all these waves.
At first, they thought it was nonsense. It's like, listen, this doesn't make sense. Oh wait, they're big dumb idiots. They're just sending pictures into space.
Yeah.
All right, let's decode these pictures. They might be real. Holy shit, they might be advanced. There's this show, this documentary where they have laser weapons, and there's
these things called phasers, even.
Yeah.
Right, and they have like cool ships, and there's a hot captain, and he's having sex with a bunch of aliens.
You mean Picard, right?
No, it's the other one.
Oh,
it's Shatner, the dumb one.
No,
he's a little pudgy, but people like. So anyways, there's a goof, a comedy moment.
Yes.
Like, oh, they thought Star Trek was real, idiots. But they're like, okay, well, no, this is a thing that the humans refer to as fantasy. We don't have cool TV shows in the Yerkon planet. We just read.
Yeah, we live in pools and we absorb into each other and we die.
Yeah, we love nutrients and that's about it, I guess. But, hey, fair, same. And so they are like, oh, listen, the only thing that we have to go down to this planet and we have to learn about their culture.
Yeah,
because we're not getting anywhere like watching soap operas and Star Trek. So they found the most natural place to land, the best place to really like hide their bug ship. Which is in the middle of a war.
Yeah, Desert Storm.
Something is happening outside. The skies over Baghdad have been illuminated. We're seeing bright flashes going off all over the sky.
Yeah, so it's clearly Desert Storm, right?
Yeah, clearly.
They don't explicitly say it's Desert Storm, but it's Desert Storm.
Yeah, in one of the like sensory inputs they took on, it's like, next we're going to be talking about Desert Storm on the Today Show or whatever. So they want you thinking, oh, Desert Storm. And then they land in the desert and there's a storm of war. See that? I could do segues too.
Yeah, clever. It's a real storm weather. Sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, you better be ready to keep going. Yeah, they land in Desert Storm.
They land in a storm, and people are in holes.
Yeah, people. Yeah,
and they're like trying to figure out what this means.
there's torsos and limbs laying around. People peeking out of holes.
I actually also want to know what that means. What does it mean? Why are they in holes?
Yeah, Bug. Do you know what's going on here? Why are the people in Desert Storm in holes?
Well, it turns out humans have this wonderful thing called fighting each other, which is completely alien, apparently, to the years.
Yeah, they're all friends on the Yercombe planet. They definitely don't like kill each other.
Kill each other ever.
Yeah, never ever.
What's this war you speak of?
Kill my same species? Ooh, couldn't be me. Cringe.
Yeah. So there's like a whole chapter of them just like, these cool tanks showed up. And the one side was clearly losing. They didn't have cool tanks and helicopters like the other side had. But like, yeah, it's just like a whole chapter of them watching this war unfold. And then we get to chapter 9, which I highlighted because this chapter is kind of fucked.
To say the least.
Well, okay. Sorry, chapter 10 is fucked. Chapter 9 is, isn't the brain cool?
Let's explain why the brain is cool. So what Edris does is they circle and find this emaciated, exhausted, beaten down soldier.
Already had a bad day.
Just having a bad day. Not American soldier, mind you. It was whoever we fought in Desert Storm.
Kuwait? This is actually was always really interesting to me in this book because I had, the wonderful and robust American education. This was the first time I'd ever heard of the Gulf War.
Right.
Was reading this book.
Exactly. They don't teach us any of this shit. Well, because we lost. Why would they teach it?
Yeah. I mean, we were all technically alive during Desert Storm, but I remember it as the boring thing on TV. Like, it really, like, it holds no place in my active memory.
Oh, no. Not at all. None.
Yeah. Couldn't tell you why we were there. Couldn't tell you how we left. I just know that it's a word that happened. So yeah, let's learn about it through the eyes of VISSER 1.
Yeah. Yeah, she kidnaps this poor soldier from the native country wherever they were. I don't want to say because I'll get it wrong.
I think it was Kuwait. I did look this up beforehand because I was like, fuck, I need to know a little bit about what happened.
So they grab this Kuwaitian.
No, I'll do us all a favor. Check this out. They grab this
Iraqi.
And
don't edit it in.
No, sorry. It was Iraq. It was Iraq.
I thought, okay.
Okay, yeah.
All right. They grab this Kuwaitian Iraq.
I'm still going to dub it over. The embarrassment is too strong.
Oh, no.
Iraq invaded Kuwait, and that was what apparently launched. Like, this is how fucking terrible our education
We're showing our ass. I love this.
No, check this out. All right,
we're Americans.
I know everything about this war, and I'm going to describe it to everyone now.
The Gulf War was a war waged by coalition forces from 35 nations led by the United States against Iraq in response to Iraq's invasion and annexation of Kuwait arising from oil pricing and production disputes.
Okay. And that's what Desert Storm was.
So they grab a Desert Stormy.
They grab the Desert Stormy.
They grab this exhausted Desert Stormy, and Edris is like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get in that dude.
And Essam, the sidekick, he's like right here in the middle of this war.
Yeah.
Maybe we should take him back to the ship first.
And she's like, nope.
And then just like sloops right in.
Yeah, she drops herself into the brain of this screaming guy, which I won't do any tribal screaming.
Yeah, thank you.
But I'm thinking it. And she starts reading his brain, and she's like, wow, human brains are weird and gross and stupid. There's 2 hemispheres connected by a corpus callosum. This thing's dumb. This is dumb as hell.
Yeah, 2 halves? Why?
Chapter 9's a great chapter if you hate brains and how brains function, because they just describe that.
Yeah, I love the ending to this chapter, too. Because, like, she's describing the brain. She's like, why are there 2 halves? Oh, I kind of get it. Like, they talk to each other. But like still is very stupid, very dumb.
Yeah.
And there's like a lot of confusion between these 2 hemispheres, and it ends like this. And yet it seemed like a small compensation for the internal treason and confusion and conflict. No wonder they kill each other, I thought. They very nearly kill themselves. It was madness. Humans, as a species, were mad. Because I guess like two sides of the brain are constantly fighting each other all the time.
Yeah, as someone who works around people with brains and has a science degree.
We all work around people with brains, Tyler. Don't be mean.
I'm just gonna hum the rest of the show. No, like, brains are stupid and weird, and we don't like them here.
What I found interesting is this kind of starts like a running theme a little bit in this book about like human exceptionalism, which like, do other species not have critical thinking at all? I mean, like from everything we've seen, no, but
yeah, probably not. I mean, honestly, probably not. No.
Yeah, you think the Hork-Bajir have two hemispheres, you guys?
Yeah.
They do not.
They have one round orb brain. It's a marble.
It's a basketball.
Oh, it is?
Jake's onto something. I don't know. This seemed very like somebody remembered a cool fact about the brain and was trying to retell it to you, but didn't quite remember all the important sciencey bits.
Yeah, Kathy Apples pulled out her fucking anatomy book and looked up brain and was like, wow, there's the brains, a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah, there's two halves.
That is what this is, right? Because it's like her suddenly realizing, like, fuck, this is a Scholastic Kids book. I need to have a fun fact in here. Yep. That's true.
Man,
did you know that there's two halves to the brain and they do slightly different things?
And if you cut the little, what is it, the corpus callosum?
Yeah.
It's a little manili bit. If you cut that in half, it still works, you guys.
It does. You're just like fucked forever, though.
Yeah, but no seizures. So that's always fun.
It does say like a fun fact somewhere where it's, hold on. Was this a fully redundant system that would allow the creature to function in the event half its brain was destroyed, which I believe you can actually lose function in half your brain, right? And still like the other half will take over on it.
Yeah, you can totally get a rail spike shoved right in there.
There you go. No damage whatsoever.
Everything's normal.
Everything's fine in there now.
Yeah. How are you? Everything's fine in my brain. How are you? Yeah. So it's a fun chapter. Brains are weird and stupid. And then we get to the oh boy.
Chapter 10, which is like, okay.
Edris learns of Allah.
Yeah, we learn about God now.
Yeah. She finds out this host has a family, cares about his family, loves something called Allah.
We got to read the quote.
Please do.
I continued my exploration of the human. I understood his senses now. Sight, sound, touch, smell, and taste. Umami is the one that they haven't learned about yet, but we'll get there. I understood his motor functions. Wonderful hands. I understood his language. And with this came an inevitable awareness of the human mind cowering down in the far corner of the brain. Crying, blustering, threatening, begging, and praying to what this human called, in quotation marks, Allah. So we learn about...
So VISSER 1 will boil him soon. This guy.
I mean, like, and it goes on, too. Is like, you know, he's learning more about this poor, confused guy.
Yeah, he's like, this is obviously a backwards, no technology idiot.
Yeah, before in the cool tank and helicopter sequence, it was like, oh, they have, like, these stupid sticks.
Yeah.
And, like, they're referring to, like, guns, I'm assuming. But, like, you know, it's definitely painting this, like, poor guy as the primitive of the situation.
Yes.
Okay, so here's what he says. Like, after he's kind of done exploring this guy, I'll return to the Hork-Bajir, I said. This creature is useless. His people are weak. He's one of the associated with the losers in this battle we witnessed. I shook my human head. Victory in this location would be meaningless. No, Essam. When I go to the Council of 13 and plead for my life, I must be able to tell them to have a plan for taking the species. And that means taking the most powerful subgrouping among them. The enemies of this creature are called the French, the British, the Israelis, and the Americans. Various nationalities, subgroupings of humans. They are the victors. Of these subgroupings, this creature believes the most powerful to be the Americans. It is to them that we must go, Essam. So we shall go this place called America. And that's how the chapter ends. And when I read that, I'm like, that's fucked.
That's fucked.
That's super fucked, right? Because, like, we are reading this, yes, as the evil VISSER one. She's bad. She's not the person to be sympathized with.
Yep.
Okay, sure. But this is also the author's analogous voice, right? We are reading this as the author is writing it.
Yes.
You wrote this, Kathy Apples. You wrote these words. And so you're saying what exactly? Right?
America's the best.
Not just America's the best. America's the best. Same with, like, I guess the French and the British
and the Israelis
and the Israeli that get to come to. Everyone else is a subgrouping that must be ignored.
Yes.
I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's like, yes, it's easier to see as adults now how awful and problematic that is, but it's not spelled out that that's a bad way of thinking. So you're planting that seed in children's brain, and that's a nope from me. That's
it's straight up like obvious. It's straight up racism. It's not even like the hidden veiled stuff that we got before. The thing that was written here fucking sucks, and they need to apologize. I'm sorry.
Why are you sorry?
It made me angry. I've never been angry at shit they said. They've said some dumb shit in the past, but no, that shit needs to go.
It does need. I will agree. Bug, where are you at on this one?
I'm with you, and I feel like it's sort of swallowing the propaganda a little bit, right? Because, like, again, like we were just saying, we were never, like, very well informed about the Gulf War. I feel like it was one of those things where they learned their lesson about Vietnam. They stopped, like, making it a thing that was in the news very often. So we never really got a ton of context with it. And I could easily see where, from the perspective of an author who's writing children's books, like, this is kind of the easy path to take, to just be like, oh yeah, like, of course the Americans and the British and the French and the Israelis are going to be the most, like, militaristic juggernauts in this situation. I'm not even going to consider necessarily what somebody who was on the ground there, like, would even be, like, what would their perspective even be of this conflict kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
It hurts.
It hurts, and it's like one of those things too where when we've gotten this kind of narrative of, like, the noble savage, because we've gotten it in a couple areas in these in, like, this series.
Hork-Bashir Chronicles, that's what that was.
Yeah, this removes the noble from it.
Yeah.
Right, because, like, it's not saying, like, well, okay, defense time for Catherine Applegate. They do go into this guy's home life. It's like, okay, yeah, he has a kid, he has a family that he loves very much.
No, I think they do a good job of making him sympathetic. Like, obviously, this is, like, a victim in this situation. Like, we are not meant to be really on Idris's side, right?
Kind of, though, because, like, after, like, describing how much he loves his family, he says, but you know what? He has been brainwashed into this into this conflict. He needs to fight because he believes in something greater than his family, which is his country and the law.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this shit sucks. I'm sorry. Like, this is, like, I want to say, like, if I had to guess when this book was written, like, I would say, like, right after 9/11 or something crazy. Because, like, it has that vibe of just, like, I'm going to put my bullets into bacon, and that way it will profane them in front of their heathen god.
And it definitely was written before 9/11, so...
Yeah, that makes
99.
it
worse. They were ahead of the curve on this one.
And, like, whatever, maybe I'm reading too much into it. I don't know.
You're not.
Made me angry.
You're not.
It made me angry, but, like,
No, like, you're not reading too much into it. This is exactly what that chapter does, which is what makes this book, at least in this part, insidious and insipid.
Yeah,
it plants the seed in the kid's brain that these people are backwards, and they don't have the same dignities that we do. They have some dignities, but we're obviously better. It sucks.
At the very least, it'll, like, do the whole, like, American society is more civilized and stuff in general, because you have this quote here saying, but his people were poorly led and had blundered into a war they could not possibly win. And in the emergency of war, he had been called to serve in the military. He was unhappy about the war, unhappy about being separated from his mate and progeny. And at the same time, he was proud of doing his duty. So, like, there is
This noble soldier shit in these books is the fucking worst part of them.
Marco has a great line about that later. And let's get to it. There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
It's bad. We'll move on.
And they give us that to digest. And then we take a break for food for some lettuce and raw eggs.
Going full Rocky. Give me that raw egg.
No, so Visser 3 tries to she's like, I need a break. I'm hungry. This body requires sustenance. He's like, here's a head of lettuce and some raw eggs. Eat, you stupid fuck.
Yeah, which again, Visser 3 rules.
Yeah. He obviously knows that she needs food, cooked food with nutrients. He's like, here, take the elements of food.
Yeah. Like I'm picturing like the previous meals. Like, all right, cool. Gummy bears and coffee. Yeah. Excellent. Thanks. Yeah.
So here's the thing, though. Is it funnier if he doesn't know what humans actually eat, though?
I mean, yeah.
He has to know,
that's a good point. Why would Visser 3 know or care what humans eat? He doesn't give a shit.
Maybe he stepped on a raw egg once and was like, you know what? That doesn't taste bad.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that.
That texture was good.
So they have their little break. She eats raw egg and eats lettuce. And we go back to the memory dump. They totally blast this poor soldier.
Done with him. Get him out of there.
Like, yeah, we'll go to America. They search the information they've absorbed and like, oh, we need to go to Hollywood. This is the best place for us to go.
Yeah, it's mentioned in all these, all the shows that they watch, their stories.
Yeah,
it's got to be important, right?
It is, I think.
Yeah,
like, they have the big sign.
Yeah, and Essem's like, "Hey, I'm thirsty. We're running out of food and water. Can we please do something?" And Visser 1 just says, "We'll get you water, Essem. The time has come for a second visit to my planet."
What?
Visser 1's already claimed this planet. She's calling it hers.
Oh, shit.
So they go to Hollywood. They find a nice big mansion on a mountain.
Yeah.
Dip down onto there with a big pool of water to drink.
Oh, cool. Excellent. I love water. It's normal, good, pure water. For me, a yerk. Because I guess I never really thought about it.
The Hork-Bajir need water. Like, they have sustenance for
is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. I thought, like, the yerk, like, they probably need water, too, right?
Yeah, if anything, they say it's horribly transparent, and that is a quote.
Yeah.
So the yerk don't like it.
They like it with chunks.
Yeah, chunky water is best for yerk.
I mean, I get it. You know, hey, sometimes you just want your water to be a little bit chunky instead of just plain clear. I get it.
Yeah, listeners, pour some chunks in your water. It makes it that much better.
What, like boba tea? You don't like boba tea?
Oh, I meant like flood poop water.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, boba tea is probably the safer choice. Do that. Do that.
Get some aloe in there. It's good.
Yeah.
I like it.
You put aloe in water?
No, in like boba tea. You know, I put like little aloe cubes in there. You get to drink cube water. It's great.
Cube water does sound pretty good. All I have is this cheap wine.
Yeah.
It's good though.
So yeah, they drop down in this like Hollywood execs mountaintop villa, and they jump right into that pool, and they bounce out and like, it burns.
Yeah, this water sucks.
Essem, what is your difficulty? And then like this described bimbo says, yeah, the pool guy was here today when this alien fucking jumps into a pool.
Yeah.
This knife monster.
Well, let's be nice to Jenny here. She's probably on a lot of cocaine.
I mean, we don't know it's cocaine. It could be anything.
They call her Jenny Lines.
We don't know.
Come on.
It could be anything.
She could be having lines of weed. We don't know.
Yeah,
you do it.
Yeah. You put it on the rolling paper in a line, and then you roll around the line.
Shit, you're right.
But she's super nice, though. I don't get why we're being so mean to her. She's like, the chlorine's always kind of high after the guy comes. You know, Mr. Lowenstein, listen, Mr. Lowenstein's making drinks for us. You want to stay and have some drinks?
Yeah. Oh, man, these costumes from the studio look great. You guys look wonderful.
Honestly, I feel like she is to be probably one of the most tragic characters in like this series, right?
The most tragic character up to this point. Jenny. Oh, Jenny.
You know what? This is Jenny's role in this entire story, and it sucks. Silence, Essem, I snapped. To the woman, I said, you are female.
my opening line as well. Like, and I don't care what the gender is. It's like, I look at Nate, you are female.
My host name was Jenny Lynn Caldwetter, but everyone calls her Jenny Lines.
Yes. So Idris takes Jenny as a host immediately.
She was 23 years of age. And describes Jenny as, beautiful in the minds of a human, but also just a dumb chemically altered bimbo. So
here we go.
Tyler, how do you feel about chemically altered bimbos?
One, I love them. I happen to be one.
I mean, we're fans of hembos and bimbos in this podcast.
And I have been chemically altered, and it rules.
Yeah?
Yes. I was chemically altered yesterday at a wedding when I took mushrooms.
How'd that go?
So here's the thing. Bug, I'm very sorry. Yesterday I was at a very close friend's wedding. I was a bridesman in her wedding. Like, I had an important role. And I started drinking at 9 a.m. And I realized around noon, the wedding's starting soon. I better stop drinking. We did the ceremony, this beautiful ceremony. And then I thought, you know what would make this wedding better? Mushrooms.
I mean, yeah.
So,
like, just you get like a good portobello and just like put in a hamburger.
Nope, the other kind, the mind-altering kind. So here's what I did. I had a friend there, and her husband was there. And I was like, man, I don't want to do mushrooms alone. So I took my friend's husband to my car and I fed him mushrooms while I took mushrooms. And I'll tell you.
Did he know that he was going to this wedding to do mushrooms?
No.
Excellent.
But I was like, hey, do you want to be a fun guy? I like to be a fun guy. This is what I said to him.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I'm a fun guy. Let's be fun guys. So we went to my Subaru. And I pulled drugs out of my glove box.
The funnest brand of car is probably the Subaru.
Oh, yeah. I drive it for a reason, because I'm fun. And I feed him some mushrooms. I feed myself some mushrooms.
Okay, as someone who's had mushrooms, they taste nasty. Did you just like eat them raw?
Yeah, I ate them raw.
Yeah, you didn't have any like...
Look, anybody who knows me knows that I like to eat raw. And I tripped balls at this wedding, and I was like, okay, my job during the ceremony is over. I have no responsibilities. I'm gonna be on mushrooms.
Really?
I told my friend weeks ago, no, I don't need to give a speech. Look, you've got a lot of bridesmaids, they'll give speeches, it's fine. 10 minutes before speech, not even 10 minutes, 2 minutes before speeches started, she's like, Tyler, can you give a speech? I'm peaking on mushrooms.
Oh,
does she know this at all?
No, she has no clue.
Innocent.
I did not tell her.
Is she the type of person that would notice somebody's on mushrooms?
No, she's never done them. I'm crying because I'm peaking on mushrooms and the sun is just beautiful.
And it's a wedding. You can cry at a wedding.
Yeah, it's beautiful. This is a beautiful day. And she's like, please give a speech. And I'm like, okay. So I give this speech, and all I remember is talking about how fire burns everything up. That was what my speech was about. That love was fire and everything was going to burn. That was my speech.
How many relatives were at this wedding?
Everybody. I started the speech by saying I didn't like any of them.
Oh.
I mean, that's fine. I think that's appropriate.
And then I talked for 2 minutes about fire.
See, that one's a little bit questionable.
And after that, I wandered out to the pond and I just stared at the pond looking for frogs. So I get Jenny Lines. It's fun to alter your brain. But Jenny Lines likes cocaine. She likes yayo. Right?
Yeah.
Bug, do you have any cocaine stories or names you want to call cocaine?
I do not. I just know I have a friend in the restaurant industry, and she tells me literally everyone you know who works there is doing it all the time.
I mean, how do you not?
We're not in I shouldn't say we're not in a drug-addled area. It's New Hampshire, but...
Free or die. Live free or die.
No, this is why I picked this book. I got a lot to talk about.
All right, I cannot wait. Whew. So, Jenny Lines, the tragic character of the story.
Can't believe they're doing coke in Hollywood.
Yeah. Can you believe they're doing drugs in Hollywood? Nate, tell us about Jenny Lines.
Nothing much to say. Like, a lot of it is actually through the perspective of the other guy who's there. He had a name.
Mr. Lowenstein.
Mr. Lowenstein.
Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein. Like, Harvey Weinstein was keeping her around because a lot of people are suckers for a lot of teeth and long legs.
Same.
A lot of teeth?
I love anyone with lots of teeth and long legs. Like, if you're just some gums with a lot of teeth and legs, send me a DM.
When I read the words a lot of teeth, I always think of, like, pictures of children's skulls where they have, like, the adult teeth and, like, right above the kids' teeth. Yeah.
Yeah. Oof.
Suckers for a lot of teeth. Yeah. So, I mean, and that's really the story of Jenny Lyon. She's real dumb. And she loves cocaine.
Yeah, and
like Idris doesn't find her to really be a suitable host at all either.
Except she learns something, and I hate this in this book. I hate it. Like, she realizes that humans are weak and can be controlled because Jenny Lyons was controlled by a chemical substance.
Yeah.
She realizes that humans can be leveraged when they are disadvantaged and in the throes of addiction. And this is another blow from this book where it's like, oh, blow, that's a pun. Didn't even really realize it. This is another blow from the book where it's like, oh, aren't humans stupid and weak when they don't have perfect morals and brains? Because addicts are treated so terribly in this book. Go ahead, Bug. I'm sorry.
No, I completely agree that like there's definitely disparagement of addiction in this book. I will say, though, I feel like this is where you are made really aware of the narrator bias, right?
Yes.
Because this is where I think is sort of the fundamental understanding of humans between Edris and Essam, where they diverge.
Mm-hmm.
Because Edris obviously is not having a very good first impression or second impression in this instance of humans in general.
Mm-hmm.
Thinks they can be controlled because, again, like, yeah, Jenny Lyons is clearly kind of somebody who's impulsive. She was from the Midwest or something, is an actress who, quote unquote, has never acted.
Right. Act like she loves sucking a producer's dick.
You go. So,
win an Oscar for that.
You know what? I feel like that probably does deserve that.
Yeah.
But Essam, who is taking over Lowenstein's body, I mean, Lowenstein, and I don't know whether you guys caught on to this or not, I think it's quite heavily implied that he's a Holocaust survivor.
Yep.
Yeah. Which Essam is immediately like, oh, no, humans are strong-willed.
Yes.
Like, he lived through this thing and was still able to make himself, like, a success in this area, you know? So I think this is where you're made really aware of VISSER VISSER 1 as a voice, and where she's wrong about things. Because Essam's there to basically say, like, hey, nah, I disagree. I think this is going to be a little rougher to take over this species than maybe you are thinking.
Yeah, and it establishes Essam also as the moral rock of this entire story.
Yeah, he has a conscience. VISSER 1 does not.
He appreciates strength, and he notices it when he encounters it.
Yeah. Whereas Edris sees a weak, corruptible, useless, well, not useless, useful idiot that they can just control.
Back to the trial.
Yeah.
Because remember, we're doing a memory dump.
We're doing a memory dump.
Bam, you're right back out. All right.
I mean, it's so... The way they talk about addicts in this book is awful. Like, no, it doesn't matter. It's bad.
So VISSER 3 is back at it again, right? VISSER 3 shows up and is like, oh, I see that you're really kind of starting to understand these humans. What's up with that? A lot of these arguments are kind of like hollow at this point. Like he's building up to something clearly. He has a couple aces in his sleeve, but he kind of pops in. He's just like, boy, this is awfully suspicious, right, you guys?
Yeah, wow, you sure like humans for someone who wants to conquer all humans.
And this is where we kind of learn about Idris's kind of mentor almost. I got the impression that this is the person who really took Idris under his wing. Garoth. Garoth is one of the Council of 13 leaders.
Yep.
And generally seems to be kind of leading this Inquisition a little bit. And he shows up and kind of says like, well, it seemed that Essam is, has some questionable things going on here, but I don't see any problems with Idris. And all of a sudden, during this inquiry, a tiger attacks. Right? And we know a tiger, you guys.
We know this tiger.
We know this tiger.
Oh, man.
We know a tiger, and then comes also a bear, too. There's like a whole bear.
And some Hork-Bajir.
Yeah, Hork-Bajir. Hey, this is the Animorphs, you guys. And in comes this tiger, and VISSER 3 cuts the tiger's head off.
Yeah, after the bear punches the tiger.
Well, don't pay attention to that part. We're paying attention about the part where strong VISSER 3 cuts off a tiger's head.
But
bam, off goes the tiger's head, and then he swoops around and he blasts that fucking bear.
Yep.
Blasts him into hell. right to hell he goes.
And the council's like, ooh, wow. He killed the Andalite bandits.
And then he grabs the Hork-Bajir, and the Hork-Bajir is like, looks confused, but he doesn't care. He bites his head off.
Yep.
There's no mouth on that Andalite, but he manages to do it.
He does it.
Yeah.
He's such a good murderous monster. He bites their heads off.
That's right.
And VISSER 1's like, ha ha. Yeah. There's usually 6 of these motherfuckers. I only count 4.
Shut up! See how strong I am? I killed this tiger, this Andalite bandit. Clearly,
it's
look. You can't deny the evidence of a dead tiger.
There are pieces of Andalite bandit everywhere, and you're telling me I didn't do it?
Cancel 13. Can't you clearly see I'm covered in Andalite viscera right now? I'm covered in blood. And they're like, yeah, no, this is good. Yeah, they all like clap and they applause and they cheer for him because honestly, the Council of 13 are just here for a show, really.
Yes.
And they seem to buy it.
VISSER 1 knows.
VISSER 1 knows that this was not, in fact, the Andalite bandits. It was clearly just a sad, hungry tiger and a confused bear.
I do love this because when I did read this as a kid, it did get me. I remember distinctly being like, oh my God, like, this is such a twist.
Yeah, it's you're reading these books and this happened. You're like, oh fuck. And you put it together as VISSER 1 puts it together. Mm-hmm. I almost laughed, idiot. I wanted to yell, did you really think VISSER 3 could afford to let you live? Huh. What could I do? Try and tell the council that these were not the Andalite bandits? Try and tell them that VISSER 3 had merely had a starved tiger and bear thrust into the room? A real tiger, a real bear, and neither in any way an Andalite bandit in morph? How would I prove that? Any more than I could prove that the supposed Hork-Bajir morphs were simply Hork-Bajir controllers ordered by VISSER 3 to fake an attack. I met VISSER 3's gaze. I nodded grimly. Yes, VISSER, I thought. This game goes to you.
But here's the thing. Like, this trial has no lawyers, has no prosecutors. Is this VISSER 1 versus VISSER 3? And VISSER 1 is not going to be taking this lying down.
No.
She's like, congratulations, VISSER 3. It would seem you have gone a long way towards eliminating the bandit threat here on Earth.
It was my hope that they would attack. I deliberately planted the seeds of this moment, knowing they'd be unable to resist such a prime target. I am pleased you were able to witness the elimination of the only resistance on Earth.
Oh, yes. And the timing, of course, was fortunate.
VISSER 3 said nothing in response. I felt a surge of renewed hope.
Who's this new gruff character? Oh, hello.
His name is Gruff.
Gruff?
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Gruff, and I son to Gruff.
Yeah. It's time to get Gruff on crime.
And like, so
Garoff is like, yeah, okay, you did it. Let's get back to the trial.
Yeah, and like, so this, like, Gruff is on VISSER 1's side and wants to see VISSER 1 succeed, right? But the thing is that VISSER 3 keeps on prodding. He's like, oh yeah, you know what? There's a little gap in the story, that you're telling here. How did you get from, we found some humans to reporting back on Earth? There seems to be a little gap of time there with this whole business.
Yeah, and then VISSER 3.
What do you think's going on there, huh?
VISSER 3 pulls
What's going on?
He pulls a baller move.
There's a little gap in the history.
Well, I bet you got a shitty gap there, huh? You probably don't know what's going on. They bring in the host that Essam was.
Yeah, they bring in not just any old host, not just any old person.
It's Hildy.
No, not introduced as Hildy.
No.
The door opened. In walked a human male. He was in his middle years. His dark hair was long and matted. His full steel gray beard was greasy and stringy. His eyes had a wild look. His clothing announced him as a street person. None of which meant a thing to the council members. They had no experience with humans. They did not understand that this sort of human could be found in the alleyway of any large city, drinking alcohol and ranting wildly at the imagined conspiracies. I sneered dismissively. VISSER 3 is perhaps jesting. This is what we humans call a street crazy, a wild man, a lunatic, an alcohol addict. If this is Essam, let Essam withdraw himself from this host body and show himself.
That's when we learn Essam is, in fact, dead. Just dead.
Essam's dead. He died.
He died.
Oh, no. We'll find out later.
Guess what, listeners? Essam's dead.
Essam's dead, but our friend Spacey is alive.
Yeah, Spacey lives where Essam only died.
So how did you get Spacey here to go on an alien trial? Well, he lured him in with a bottle of delicious alcohol.
Yeah.
What I love about this is they don't even say what it is. He just says a bottle. I will give you a bottle.
Yeah.
I imagine it's like a Mickey's, probably, like a Steel Reserve.
Oh, God.
Get Mad Dog.
VISSER 3's like, you want this Goldschlager, you come to alien court.
Yeah, like they bring the shittiest alcohol. If you want this delicious bottle of Aftershock, you better do what I say.
Listen, this is from the finest of Hood Rivers. You need to come with me right now, Spacey. So yeah, another awful portrayal of a human.
You couldn't get as the most alcohol addicted person that you can think of. You could not get them to show up to an alien trial or they'll die for a bottle of sweet, sweet brown liquor. That's not how that works.
It does apparently in the minds of Kathy Apples.
I'm just saying
because this is another we're not even seeing it through Edris's voice. This is
author.
This is the author. This is what they bring in. It's this is an alcohol addicted street person, the lowest of the low. Awful. It's awful.
I asked your name. Answer me, and I will give you a fresh bottle. The man licked his lips. His eyes darted from me to VISSER 3 to the holograms of the council to the Hork-Bajir guards. A bottle. Okay, my friends call me Spacey. Folks always do.
Good, Spacey. Now, I'm going to ask you some questions, Spacey. You will answer me. If you answer all my questions, I will give you a bottle. If you attempt to lie, I will kill you. Is that clear?
Spacey nodded, more confused than afraid. Which, I'm again, you know what, authors everywhere write what you know. If you don't know how alcoholics work, don't write about them. Don't even try, because otherwise you do something like this, where I will give you a delicious bottle. Yes, I will do anything for bottle.
Please give baby the bottle.
I mean, at the very least, we do know that Spacey, quote unquote, knows about Yerks in the first place, and
he reminds me. He reminds me of the crazy lady in the woods from
Megamorphs. Yeah,
from Megamorphs. She has experience. What's his actual name?
Hildy.
Hildy has experience with aliens. He's able to label them all correctly, and he's
He's you see that Andalite, right? I'm not. You see that, right? That's a direct quote. He's you see the Andalite here, right?
Yes, we see the Andalite. Just tell me what you know and you'll get your bottle.
Yeah. If you want your medicine, you'll tell me everything you know.
And Spacey reveals the truth of Allison Kim. This is where we learn about Allison Kim and Allison Kim's two twins.
Yes.
A girl and a boy.
It's yes. Oh, I remember her. See, she was Essam's wife. He was in love with her. VISSER 3 lowered his thought-speak voice to an insulting whisper. And she, this Allison Kim, this Edris 562, this sub-VISSER 409, she was in love with him as well? Yes, Essam was sure of that. Mostly, anyway. See, If I hadn't been sure, he'd never have gone ahead with it. With what? The babies. They're kids. See, they had kids. Twins. A little girl and a little boy.
Ooh. So to kind of tie things together, Idris eventually takes over someone called Allison Kim.
Mm-hmm.
And Allison Kim had a baby.
Babies! Woo, we love getting pregnant, don't we, folks?
Oh, man, I love it.
They really got on that breeding, didn't they?
Yeah.
Turns out
that's what they were looking forward to. Submissive and breedable.
Turns out Idris was the one, actually. That was...
Yeah. Idris is like, man, sure would be nice if someone busted in me.
No, Idris is a power top. What are you talking about?
No, it's not no, she's not a power top. She's a power bottom. She's topping from the bottom.
I don't know how this shit works. I've never had sex.
Yeah, I know. We proved that. You don't have a girlfriend.
Listener, he's lied. I've actually had sex.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't, listeners. He's never done it. He's never done it with a girl. He's never done it.
He's lying, listeners.
Tell him what doing it is if you've done it.
Well, you see, like you and two other close friends, you get into a ball, and then you have babies, but then you fall off and die. It's part of the deal.
Yeah, that's
Yerk
Yerk's.
facts.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, that's Yerk. Here we go. This is quite the twist. And they had babies.
They had babies. So let's learn more about these babies, because obviously VISSER 3 has a plan here.
Yeah.
He didn't just bring in this like random bottle-starved hobo to tell us a story about how VISSER 1 had sex one time.
Once?
No, he's trying to say like, hey, listen, if you had babies, why did you have that? Oh, because you secretly kind of love humans, don't you?
Don't you love it? Don't you love it when you have babies? Don't you love growing babies in you after someone busts in there?
And VISSER 1 is like,
actually,
yeah, there's like some sweating under the collar here. Right? Like, VISSER 1 is like, how do I explain? How do I explain that for more than a year, I set aside my loyalty to, go off and have children? Well, it was actually part of a plan for the Empire, you see. And let me tell you in my own words. And VISSER 3 is like, no way, Jose. We're busting up the brain probe. You are not to be trusted.
We can't trust you.
Like, because she's already kind of lied a little bit here. Like, lied through omission, right? She said, like, I went to this planet. I did some golf there. I ate a couple raw eggs.
Yeah, what else can you do on it?
What else can you do on this planet? And then I came back and told you guys about it.
Yeah.
So she already kind of like glazed over this whole having babies thing. And so Garoff, even though like Garoff is in, VISSER 1's corner, he's like, yeah, no, we got to bust out the old brain probe.
Yeah. In VISSER 1, we get to the untimely end of Jenny Lines here. And this was...
Second hero, Jenny Lines.
Second hero. Like, this was... Not only do they treat her like shit, they kill her like shit.
She has probably the most horrific death in this series. I will just say straight up.
Yes, she really does. And it's described in such awful detail. Because this is where we get a sense of who VISSER 1 really is and what she can do. The ruthless, power-hungry, awful, murderous bitch. Please DM me if you're her. They go to this Hollywood party where VISSER 1 notices Allison Kim, and she says, Allison Kim was different than Jenny Lines. She was not a drug addict. She was not stupid. She was a scientist. Oh, I know the idea of human science is almost laughable, but she had the disciplined habits of mind and the imagination too. She was more similar to the human Lowenstein than to Jenny Lines or the hapless soldier. I took her in the swimming pool. It was the perfect opportunity. Jenny Lines was physically strong when under control, but she was under the influence of a number of chemicals, and this is where we learn that VISSER 1 let Jenny Lines keep doing lines.
I love this idea that VISSER 1 was going off and doing drugs while SM was like at Hollywood shindigs and stuff.
I wonder what kind of like ritual he built in his mind. Like humans, they have to do their chemicals in a certain order. They need to go to the bathroom. They need to find where they leave their excrement and make sure it's a clean toilet, they call it.
Yes.
And we need to find this toilet.
And we get some more choice, awful, anti-drug talk in that At one time, I considered that addicts would make a perfect starting point for our invasion. They are inherently weak and susceptible, easily taken. Unfortunately, they were also humans devoid of accomplishment or influence. They could not give us access to the levers of power. Yeah, because no addict has ever had power before.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially in Hollywood.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, Jesus. And so Visser 1 as Jenny Lines pulls Alice and Kim into the pool, and we get this awful, ugly moment in the pool where, let me just read it to you. All I needed was contact with her motor functions. I found them quickly enough. Tapped into her arm and leg controls, froze her, paralyzed her. Then I began to disengage from Jenny Lines. I withdrew from the empty brain, keeping just one control contact till the very end. Stretched now between two humans, half touching Alice and half touching Jenny, I gave a last instruction to Jenny Lines. I made Jenny breathe. Then I broke contact forever. Alice and Kim, the new me, waited till it was too late, then made a show of hauling Jenny Lines to the surface. I performed the primitive human methodology for resuscitating a person who has attempted to breathe water. It failed. It failed as, of course, it must. Jesus Christ.
Dun, dun, dun.
Made her drown herself.
You know, I'm developing a theory as we go through the many hosts of Visser 1.
What's that?
I think that Visser 1 is, like, this is her... She dumped Jenny Lines. Relationship-wise.
Oh, yes.
Like,
it's
yeah, like, I remember...
She had a crush on Allison and went, like, she moved up.
We saw Allison across on the pool looking radiant.
Yeah, I drown all my exes as well.
She was looking radiant, and here I was with this, like, dumpy, drug-addled bimbo. I didn't want to be a part of this. Like, it really is like she's looking for an upgrade.
Yeah.
And she's like, all right, nope, I'm done with this relationship. Because, like, I think that they built a little rapport, Jenny Lines.
Yeah, she let Jenny do cocaine. It made her a more susceptible host.
Yeah, but, like, there was a certain understanding, and they were building a relationship.
Yeah.
And then she found a more desirable host, and she's like, sorry, sweetie, I'm moving on. And then drowns her in a pool, and then moves to Alice and Kim. And, I think, like, the fate of Alice and Kim later on is gonna, like, add a bit more credence to, like, this is how Visser 1 dates.
Yes.
It's
you move from person to person trying to find someone stronger than you so you can break them. That's what relationships are.
To get more power.
Is that it? Do you see relationships like that?
Somebody does. I'm sure people out there do see relationships as, like, access to power. People out there are, like, dating, to get access to greater opportunities.
Yeah, I wonder. I wonder if there's any powerful woman out there who used her body and mind to become ingratiated to people in power, so that she herself could access power.
I like how vague that is, because that really could be something.
I don't know who you're talking about.
There's
so many.
I meant Hillary Clinton.
Okay.
Really?
Visser 1 is Hillary Clinton.
I'm willing to hear the argument.
I thought she was already...
Bill Clinton was the ambitious politician, and so it's fine. She's an ambitious evil monster, just like Visser 1. And she used that to try and become the most powerful vicious monster, and couldn't do it. Our boy Donald Trump, who we love and support, to even the haters and the losers. No, it was a bad metaphor. It's just, I agree with Nate that people will use other people to get access to power.
Yeah, it's the same. Like, she's just doing, like, Yerk power moves, right?
Yeah, girl bossing. Yerk power moves.
Well, yeah, it's just like, she's doing, like, corporate kind of maneuvers here.
Yeah.
Right? She's like, if I become friends with this person, and by friends I mean take over their brain,
yeah,
then I'll have more a deeper understanding of humanity and allow me to take them over easier.
Visser 1 Edris does get a thrill from breaking a strong host. She's like, ooh, Allison Kim is much stronger than Jenny Lines.
Yeah, I love the experiment that she does in the next chapter.
Yeah, it's
because what does she do? Like, she's still playing around with this organism called human. And she wants to know, like, what are you capable of? Are you really something that we can control? So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you one eyeball. You get to control this eyeball all you want. You can move it up, down, left, or right. And you can control it. What are you going to do? And it turns out Allison Kim is kind of a badass because she doesn't actually let VISSER 1 know that she has control of the eyeball.
Yeah,
she hides it.
She hides it. She's a formidable fighter in her own mind.
Right. They're playing a chess game, and the chess game right now is lay low, wait until the opportune moment presents itself, and then I will strike like a viper in the night of your brain.
Yeah,
that's Allison Kim. That's
that
what
metaphor makes perfect sense. Yeah,
brain viper is coming.
Yeah. Bug, how do you feel about Allison Kim and Edris's relationship?
I think it's so freaking fascinating because we're in the early part of the chapter right now where we're talking about the thing we're about to talk about, but you get the sense that they almost have a bit of a rapport. Like, you get the sense that Allison wants to learn about Yeerk culture and like alien civilization and like is just like having a scientist brain in general and is fascinated by the fact, there's more out there for us and wants to learn. And Edris is like enamored by the fact that like, this is a smart human. This is somebody I could potentially respect if it weren't for the fact that they're just a meat sack for me to control.
Yeah. Right.
Her name doesn't have any nicknames with like doing drugs.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it was. So she says, I was caught by surprise. I had not known that humans would do that. Die rather than accept defeat.
Well, what
Should
was
we
she
say
trying
what
to,
she actually
yeah,
does?
What was she trying to do?
Yeah. So she had control of the left eye, and Allison Kim waited and hid that she knew. She hid that she knew from Edris, which is a baller move. And when Edris was driving, she realized she had a defective brake light. She makes Edris close the body's eyes to try and cause a crash to kill herself, because she would rather die than be enslaved by Edris. And that is when Edris says, I was caught by surprise. I had not known that humans would do that. Die rather than accept defeat. Oh, I knew that they said they'd do that, but not that they would actually mean it. It was a depressing insight. Victory always involves a certain amount of bluff. The weaker party must realize that he is weaker and be prepared to submit. A species that will not submit is useless. There was no profit in simply killing humans. We needed them alive. We are not predators after all. Fortunately, few humans are Allison Kim. So only some of us are very strong.
Allison Kim, very strong.
Very strong.
And brave, and my friend.
Yeah.
But here's kind of where things kind of go back to because we jump back and forth between this probe and the court, right?
Yes.
And the court represented by I keep on want to call him Georf.
You can call him Georf. A little Homestar Runner for the people out there.
Garof. How do you say his name?
Georf.
Jeff.
Georf.
So Jeff shows up as like in this like recollection of the events as a Hork-Bajir, right? Like
she can see him.
She can see him because he's along for the journey as well.
He became a Freddy Krueger by entering her brain.
Right. So suddenly, while this car adventure is happening, there's a Hork-Bajir in the passenger seat of the Toyota Camry. And she's like, and Georf is like, you're making a deal with a human. You're talking to this human. What are you doing? And, she's kind of justifying it. It's like, listen, we need to really understand what these humans are capable of. Because if we need, because like she's trying to make her case of they're stronger than they let on sometimes.
Yeah.
And, we're going to have to be careful about how we approach this because otherwise, like they might let us think that they've lost and then all of a sudden drive us into the back of a bus,
Right.
It is her argument at this time. And she's like, Georf is going to keep on showing up in this story as a ghost Hork-Bajir. And
Georf calls her on her bullshit. He says, let us grant that humans are complex. That is not the issue at hand. The issue at hand is your decision to live as a human and to fail to contact us for 2 years. And
then throw all of this. Because like there's so many like layers of characters inside of Idris's brain right now. There is Georf.
Yep.
There's Idris. There's VISSER 3, who's like watching and laughing.
Yeah.
And there's Eva.
Yes.
Which is the person that we've kind of left out so far.
Fuck yeah, we haven't talked about Eva yet.
No, this is the perfect place for it.
Right, because in the back of all of this is Eva, who's also learning all of this for the first time.
Yes.
But we should also mention, that's Marco's mom.
That's Marco's mom.
Marco's mom got it going on, and almost has a name, by the way.
So all through this book, VISSER 1, Idris, has been immaculate in her ability to push the hosts out of the way. She's like, I don't even pay attention to them. They don't matter to me. They're nothing. And as soon as VISSER 1 starts getting called on her hypocrisy and her bullshit, Eva's like, look at you stupid yerk. You dumb bitch. You fucking bitch. Look at you bitch. You stupid bitch. They're going to kill you, bitch. Just this whole time mocking her. And it pops up about halfway through the book. She feels Eva starting to bubble up. And she's like, you're going to die, you stupid bitch. Fucking dyke bitch. Sorry, I've been watching The Wire. There's a character who does that in one of the interrogation rooms. Like, fuck you, bitch. Fucking bitch. Stupid bitch. Fuck you, bitch. And when I was reading this book, it's like, oh my God, this is just like cheese. It wasn't cheese.
Eva's been having like running commentary throughout most of the book at this point, but she's not like VISSER 1 just doesn't care. She's just like, whatever, I'm not paying attention to you right now. And this is where she's starting to feeling that like needling from her host.
And Eva's like, oh, you don't like it when they look in your brain, huh? This is how it feels to be infested by a yerk like you stupid bitch. You infesting bitch, you stupid bitch. Sorry, I gotta stop.
I also think like part of it too is that this is also a story that Eva is witnessing for the first time too.
Yeah.
Because like normally in this kind of like yerk goes in your brain, there's
give and take, but
it's give and take,
but
like,
not with VISSER 1. VISSER 1's like, I give them nothing.
Yeah, and so like she knew some stories, right? But she didn't know this one with Allison Kim.
Yeah, she hid it.
Right, because this is also kind of around the time where Allison Kim, the person, is starting to like, you know, feel like some squishy feelings for what's the other guy's name?
Essam and Hildy.
Essam and Hildy. So what's
we should mention that at the same time that Idris infested Allison, Essam infested this guy named Hildy, who I don't know if they were already like. I don't know why they went for him. He was just around, I guess.
Well, they emptied.
He was younger, right?
They emptied the movie producer's bank account and just murdered him.
Good move.
So they start a life together, and Garoff is watching this entire thing. I felt a single mind, a single consciousness touching mine, Garoff. He did not roughly seize control. He insinuated himself, his voice alone at first. He asked polite questions, but we both knew the power was all his. Tell me, he said. Yes, I answered. Hey, what does that sound? Eva laughed. Oh, I know. It's the jaws of a trap snapping shut. Just getting made fun of by Marco's mom this whole time. She's like, wow, you gonna die, bitch. Stupid bitch. You're dead, bitch. This is it, bitch. You're dead. Bitch. Hey, you stupid bitch. You're dead. Garoff is being very sweet, only reading certain memories. And he's like, no, fast forward. Fast forward. We're getting this.
He's on her side.
Yeah,
he's trying to like
but
exonerate her, basically.
But he discovers that they're making a deal. Like Allison and Idris are making a deal of like, listen, if you cooperate, I will give you some science knowledge. I'll give you secrets of the universe that we have discovered.
Yes.
There's aliens and they're gross. Don't you want to know that? Allison Kim, being a scientist, yes, wants to know these things. And in return, Allison Kim is kind of giving back some of the human experience and what it means to be human and that sort of thing. And along with that comes the human experience of love.
Yeah.
And how it makes gross things come out of organs. And, you know, like the thing is like, ultimately this not thruple, what's a fourple?
Quadruple.
It's a fourple.
A fourple. That sounds way better.
This fourple is falling in love, right?
Yeah.
Because like they're starting to get feelings. They're having dinners and candles and lobsters, and that means obviously love. If you find a lobster on your plate, might as well put a ring in that fucking lobster. You're engaged.
Yes.
Can you imagine how weird this must be as one of the hosts? Because like you don't know, like Allison does not know Hildy. at all
Well, I imagine
in this
they
context,
talk.
right?
Right.
It's been
But
a
they,
year,
like-
hasn't it? Like
no,
it's-
but like she doesn't know Hildy
oh
because
yeah.
Essem's talking, you know?
Yeah.
So like, but they still like, you know,
But-
conspire and
and
stuff
they-
later.
and
So
they
it's-
talk
there's
about-
something going on. It's really strange.
Yeah, they talk about how Essem even says, "My host finds your host attractive,"
Yeah.
and Idris is like, "My host finds your host attractive. Do you want to be co-parents with me?" No, we get a fourple here.
Yeah, there's a strong fourple, and it's strong enough. Well, I think also part of this fourple's construction is that the host and hoster and hostee,
Yeah.
parasite and victim of parasite, have become so entangled that even the narrator is describing them as both.
Yes.
Right, and like what is it? Chapter 21. Essem Hildy leaned over in a bed, smiling. Right, you know, like they're described as one person at this point,
Yep.
right? Because they've just been so entangled. And actually, this made me come to a realization later, and whatever.
That you've never known love?
Yeah, but like the explanation that later is that, you know, eventually, well, we already know that Essem dies inside of Hildy,
Yes.
and Hildy. Essem was never able to escape Hildy.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's because they became so emotionally entangled. Like he was never able to escape his host while he was dying because they were just so glued together.
I mean, it is a give and take, and honestly, this is a Polly Wrights book because what is this if not?
What is this?
if this isn't Polly, I don't know what the fuck Polly is.
Well, I'm sure they include fourples.
Yeah, if you have a fourple, let me know what's happening there. Because do you need a fiffle?
No,
Fiffle?
No.
A fipple?
no, fipple maybe.
Okay,
I mean,
fipple.
like what I've always found really interesting about like the point we're making right now is so like if we look at Yeerks as what they are as like a species, right? Like there's clearly supposed to be some kind of like symbiotic evolution that happened with the Geds, right?
Yeah.
Like Geds are like basically don't have brains. The Yeerks are just brains, and they just like took over the Geds basically because those are their endemic species on their home planet. So like, is there something about like the Yeerks where you do have some kind of fusion of a personality or a brain or something that does happen over time? Like, is that what they're supposed to do? Are you supposed to be sort of cohabiting a body together?
I mean,
But they're kind of perverting it by making it like sort of a slave relationship. Like this is like what I find so fascinating about this book, because obviously Visser 1 is kind of taking like a conqueror kind of perspective on this, but Essem has a
No, that's super interesting.
like a they have like a relationship, right?
And maybe that's what makes Visser 3 Visser 3. You know, like it's that. Well, maybe this is something that Yeerks don't understand about themselves, is that they're kind of supposed to entangle themselves with their host.
Yeah.
And like, you know, become one, right? Like maybe Visser 3 is Visser 3, not because he's a badass that, you know, radiates evil. Like maybe the worm doesn't do that. Maybe it's Alaran and Visser that make Visser 3 Visser 3.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at Alaran, who is a bloodthirsty war criminal, meeting up with Visser 3, who is a bloodthirsty war criminal. And these two things come together to create the
peanut butter
ultimate...
chocolate at last. Before it was peanut butters and gum, and that wasn't very good.
No, that is a really fascinating point, Bug. That is a great fucking point that I had not considered. No, this puts a whole new light on the book. Still racist, awful.
Well,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
that wasn't the focus of the book,
Right.
But like, you know, like so in this case with Visser 1, like Visser 1 is becoming human.
Yeah.
You've become too sympathetic to the thing that we're trying to take over. But in reality, you can't do that. And it makes me wonder about all the other controllers out there. Is like, are all these controllers that are being controlled by Yeerk, are they actually kind of secretly falling in love? Like, are they?
I mean,
are they like it? Like, let's look at like just a neutral controller. Let's look at like Chapman. You know, Chapman's kind of this weird character because I was about to say Squidward, but like, you know,
that's where you were going with it.
I was like, yeah, like, he's like this kind of depressed vice principal, right? Who just,
Squidward, you're right.
yeah, who just like, he follows does what he's told, and he just kind of like pluts along with life, and maybe that like Yerk kind of does the same thing too now, and they just become this one entity of just like trucking along in life, middle management.
Yeah, middle managers like, okay, we're gonna do this.
And
I think a better maybe like example of that wasn't it Tobias's teacher?
Yeah,
he was a controller, right? And like they also had like a kind of what's the word?
Toxic codependence.
Yeah.
Well, let's take this to the final step here. Is that what does it say about Eva and Visser 1? Right? Is Visser 1 now Eva? Are they the same person? Or since like, well, and like, let's fucking talk about relationships. Let's go down.
Oh boy, here we go.
Right? Because like every person I've dated has left an impression on me as a person, has changed me. That just happens. That happens when you have a relationship where you see another person just like rip a giant fart, and you see who they are as a person, and like you start being like hitting that level of comfortability. It's like, all right, I've taken on your aphorisms, you've taken on my aphorisms. Now who is Nate? Right? It's like, and then like I've moved on from those relationships, and now it's like, okay, I meet the next person. And like I swear I'm not drowning people in pools, but like, but the point I'm trying to make here is that like I think what Visser 1, I keep on saying Visser 1, but really her name is Essam.
Idris.
Right? Idris, damn it. Idris.
There's too many E names in this book. It's bad.
I think like what Idris is realizing throughout this book is that like, oh, these hosts have left impacts on me, and that is why I need
3 partners. I need 2 boyfriends and a girlfriend.
Well, I want me to hit you guys with a bomb, because her first impression of a human, if you'll remember, was proud of his progeny. He was a parent. Mm-hmm. So, like, how much of an influence did that have?
That totally tracks. Later on, the leverage that gets used, because, hey, they're falling in love. They're eating lobster.
Yeah.
Got to watch out when, like, lobster is commitment, both as a food and as a relationship dinner item.
Yeah, you go to lobster dinner with Nate, it's serious. Nate and I have never had lobster dinner.
Oh, come to New England. It's like, you throw a rock and there's a lobster right there.
New England is for lovers. That's what I always say.
New England is for lobsters. No, I think this is a really great point you're making, Nate. I think this is a subtle book about relationships and the lasting effects that a relationship has on you. Bug, how do you feel about that?
I would agree entirely. I mean, like, if anything, this is more like entrenched about it, because like if you're sharing a brain with somebody, not that I've ever had that experience, but like I could imagine like habits would bleed over a lot faster, or like values or anything,
What's the worst thing y'all have taken out of a relationship?
What?
Yeah, like what's the worst habit you've picked up from another human you're in a relationship with?
Cleaning.
Worst?
Yeah, I've started to care more about like, this place should be clean. There's like garbage everywhere.
Ooh.
What, you've never gone into a relationship and you realize that you live like a pig monster?
No, like, I'll do mine. I know I live like a pig monster.
That's the worst thing?
Yeah, that's the worst. Like,
I was happy as a pig monster. Now I just see like I'm living in my own shit. It's not good.
Jesus. Okay. All right. Fine.
I know I had to unlearn the word, like saying the word like right after every sentence, because
right.
This person, like I don't know how to describe it. Right. Because you say at the end of every sentence you're talking about, you try to validate what you're just saying by asking the person that they've experienced it too. Right.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's just saying right at the end of every sentence. And it was a weird habit to pick up, but that was what it was.
Mine was going to be that I don't know if I can trust love right away because of a toxically codependent relationship I had, where I wonder if I'm setting up enough personal and emotional boundaries with another human being, or if I'm easily falling back into having someone need me and needing someone else just because, it's just easier to go along with that than to establish yourself as a person. That's what I was going to do. But yeah, cleaning sounds bad, Nate. Sorry I had to go through that.
That's pretty rough. I'm still recovering from that.
Yeah. Ooh.
Well, see, Todd, that's because all my relationships are good and ended on a kind of a positive note.
Oh, yeah. All of them, huh? Yeah. Okay. All right. Not going to say anything. All of mine are bad.
Yeah, you should get better at dating.
Oh, God, I would if I could.
Yeah, and all I'm saying is, Tyler, like, listen, as a pure, untouched virgin, I feel that you can really learn something from me, a man who's never had sex.
Yeah. The smoothest dick man. Here I am over here with warts on my genitals.
That's right. It's polished and hard, and you wouldn't even know.
Whew. Speaking of polished and hard.
It's like a trailer hitch.
God. Hook your trailer to me, baby. We're going.
I don't even know where this is going anymore.
No.
Like,
Where the fuck were we?
It should be going to, like, having some babies.
Yeah. So Edris, they make her admit that she loves her babies.
Well, that she had babies.
That she has babies and that she loved them. Garoff watches this whole thing and he's disgusted by it. He says, You've sympathized with these disgusting creatures. You're a disgusting creature. And Eva's like, haha, you dumb bitch. Gotcha, bitch. He knows now. You're dead, bitch. I'm going to be free of you, bitch. You're so dead, bitch. And
is she, though? Because she's like, oh, wait, you have kids. I can relate to you now.
Yeah, and and she, like, Visser 1, Edris, just immediately turns the table on Eva and says, I know about your son, and if I want to live, all I have to do is give him to them. And Eva's like, oh, you still a bitch, though.
Yeah, no, honestly, Eva's coming around a little bit.
I mean, a little.
She is. She's like, you know, like, because, like, oh, now mother to mother, let's have a conversation.
Yeah, Eva does try, because Eva witnesses all of this.
This is a book where Kathy Apples was like, fucking finally, I don't have to write from the perspective of 13-year-olds. I can now talk as a mom.
Yeah.
Right. And you're like, as a mother, I hope, like, my son is strong and will defeat you. But, you know, maybe he could, my son could help yours, help you out of this situation. Like, I think Eva's actually the one that plants that idea in Visser 1.
Yes.
But
so first she's got to take a shit.
Well, she raises her hand, like, excuse me, court, I need to, like, remove bio waste from my bum.
Yeah. I need to push out excrement. Well, I don't. This body does, but you know how Yerks are. We kind of have to do it for them, and I can't just do it here.
Taxons do not shit. all right, what do you say, Taxon?
I need to talk about how, like, she tries so hard to not offend the Taxon Council members.
Yeah, she really does.
They're sensitive.
She's like, I know you're all subspecies monsters with no brains, but I respect you.
If that's your choice, you know.
Right.
Maybe it feels good to be a Taxon. You don't know.
That's like there's got to be a high, right? You get out of it. I have to assume.
Yeah, you just get to keep eating and eating until you fucking explode. It sounds great.
You don't know, you guys, but I ate a whole cake this week.
Ooh.
You did?
Yeah, it was my birthday. I ate a whole cake.
Oh yeah, happy birthday, Nate.
Birthday.
Here's what happens when you live alone. You buy entire cake and then you eat it.
You ate the whole cake?
It was a small cake. It was like
that's how you know you're an adult, right? It's like nobody can tell you no.
German chocolate, the best kind of birthday cake.
That is.
Schwarzwälder Kirschtorte.
Haha, jawohl, baby. Nate, do some German.
Gut.
You untouched virgin.
Nein.
Oof. So Idris says, yeah, this bitch has got a shit.
Yeah, and she goes to the bathroom.
Steals a cell phone.
Somehow steals a cell phone. I guess like one of the controllers like, oh shit, sorry. Yeah, my dumb family needs to talk to me.
It's pretty important. I have to have this razor on me at all times.
I thought it was like the T-Mobile like flip phone where it would be like
no. This was 99. It would have been like a Nokia, right?
Yeah, a Nokia. Just
yeah.
You can play Snake on it. It's pretty good.
That's what's important. And Helicopter. That was a good game.
Yeah.
So she immediately calls Marco, and she's like, "Listen, you need to come save me right now." And Marco responds in probably the most Marco fashion possible. He's like, fuck you, bitch. You stupid bitch. I'll kill you, bitch. You dumb bitch. I'll kill you. You're dead to me, bitch. No, like, joking aside, Marco's like, I don't have to save you. You're dead. You're dead.
Yeah, like, you're already dead. This is more of a business deal between me and Visser 1. If I save you, what do I get out of this?
Yeah.
And Visser 1's like, oh, damn. Let's see here. If I die, Visser 3 will be happy. And he's like, all right, that's a good point.
Yeah.
He just goes like, he plays it very cool. He's
does.
like, listen, we'll think about it.
He says,
and then
Mom,
just hangs up or something.
Mom, I know you can hear me. I don't know if I can save you. You understand that, right? I'll do what's right. I'll do what I have to. And that is a power move. I know my mother loves me, Visser. And let me make one thing clear. There's no deal between us, you and me, Yerk. I'll kill you for what you've done to her and my dad. Count on that. And then he hangs up. Visser 1 is just pissed off. Preposterous. A scrawny teenager threatening me? It was a prisoner of Visser 3, already all but condemned to death by torture and starvation. Did the child think he could frighten me? It was laughable. And yet you're not laughing, are you, Yerk? Eva sneers.
So good.
Just good shit.
Fuck, I love Eva. She's the actual, like, boss-ass bitch.
She really is. Like, and this is a great continuation of the growth of Marco into someone who really needs to be pragmatic and pragmatically ruthless.
Needs to,
Well, it's neat. Sorry.
I think like it's a result of his brain just snapping. Because I think his brain at this point has snapped. He's turned into a pure pragmatist. He has turned himself into an emotionless robot because he has to.
Yes.
Because the situation has forced him to get a phone call from his dead mom.
Saying, save me or your mom's dead.
Yeah. And like, you know, him having to say like, well, we'll think about it. You know, this is about business.
Yeah. And the evolution of Marco in just this book is... It's apparent. You start the book saying, Marco's a sweet child who's too kind for this world. It's going to crush him. And then when Marco is introduced in this book, he's like, I'm going to do what's right. I know my mom loves me, but I'm going to kill you. And
nice one, Nate.
Yeah, Nate spilled all over himself. I've had more wine than you, and you're a disgusting freak. But we get this Marco, this pragmatist, ruthless, like this evolved, even if it's a lesser evolution as a human characteristic. And it's at once tragic and at once heroic.
I think it's very also, it showcases finally who Marco really is, because in the entire book series, basically, right? He's been putting up this front to show that, like, I mean, people use humor to deflect, right?
Mm-hmm,
and he's clearly been using it to mask his trauma this entire series. And this is the first time we see where he is able to actually, what do you call it? Confront the source of that trauma, right? Yeah. He is talking to Visser 1.
Yes.
And he gets to talk to his mom in like some context, right? Because there's no hiding that this is his mother. Mm-hmm. Like, he doesn't have to, you know, pretend that he's not related to this person's host.
Yeah, the pretense is
like
gone.
That.
It's all gone.
It's finally he can be like upfront about his emotions and what he feels in this situation. And I feel like that's such a growth for this character. Like, I weirdly, like, I love Marco in this series, but it does take a while for him to get here. And it's because of his family situation finally getting some kind of progression,
and
right?
Yeah, this is the first time that Marco has been upfront and honest outwardly, because he's able to say, Mom, I love you, but I don't think I can save you. And you made an excellent point saying that he had never... It's always been pretense with Marco, the hiding behind the jokes, the hiding who he is, what he's feeling. But he finally gets to tell Visser 1, fuck you, bitch, you stupid bitch, I'm going to kill you. Mom, I love you, but that bitch is dead. And,
exactly.
And it's a wonderful growth for a character in this considered this optional book. And it's a great disservice that they would do that to Marco in this book that's not in the main series, because it's a really touching moment in its awfulness, because Marco is only at this point because he's been broken down and destroyed. That sweet, kind child is dead. He's dead. And it's because of the person in this book who has drowned a drug addict, who Dracon beamed someone who loved his child and was in a war he could not win. It's awful. It's dark. I love it. It's good. Nate, welcome back.
I like, listen, the wine's taking care of itself. Don't you worry about that wine.
I'm not worried about it.
Listen, this carpet is speckled. It's fine. You notice the red spot.
No, you dirty pig. I know you.
That's right. I love living in slop. I love eating slop. Hard disagree on all of what you said. I think this is Marco's emotional...
Please present your case.
Well, I think that this is Marco's emotional distancing gone to its like logical extreme. Marco is not here anymore. Really, like Marco, I feel like has evolved to the point where he's no longer a person. I think that he has gotten to this breaking point where you're right. He's no longer this sweet, lovable kid at the beginning because he is fully broke. His persona has split, and now he's put on this facade of, I don't care whether my mother lives or dies, because honestly, I don't care about anything anymore. I'm gonna show up in like later chapters and bust open a door and say, I'm here to kill you, bitch, and not care that this is my mother. And we'll see in a later sequence where they actually meet. That it's a business transaction. It turns into like, okay, here's the best strategy. Marco, you see the line? Yes, I see the line, mother.
Jenny saw some lines.
Jenny also sees some lines.
She sure fucking did.
And it turns into these broken characters showing up and saying, yeah, like we're gone, but maybe this war can actually continue. And it's a tragedy.
Exactly, and that's why.
But it's not a growth. It's the opposite. It's a conclusion.
I mean, growths can be bad. Have you ever heard of cancer?
Oh shit! No, I haven't. What's cancer, Tyler?
No, when I say that it's growth, I don't mean that it's good. It is a change,
sure.
And it's a tragedy. Marco is a slow-moving tragedy.
Yeah. But this is broken Marco. This is. What's the Metal Gear Solid 5 thing?
Punished Marco.
This is punished Marco. He is punished. And,
wait till you learn that Marco is actually the helicopter pilot from the first game and not really Marco. It's very good stuff.
Visser 1 comes back from her shit, and she's like, all right.
Let's go, I guess.
Sorry about that dump. It took a really long time. I needed some laxative.
Visser 3's looking at her like, what did you do in there?
Yes. That's when Visser 3 pulls what I like to call the Queen's Gambit. I'm trying to tie it in with news.
I was going to say, stuff. What's behind door number 1? It's your son.
It's Darwin, your baby boy.
Time for her to make a Sophie's choice, and
yeah, Eva's choice is what this is.
Well, yeah, there's suspicions now of the motivation of Visser 1, and Visser 1, Visser 3 has a solution, a way to clear her name.
Hey, Bug, check it out. I'm expertly pouring wine without spilling it. Look at that. Oh, God, not a drop missed.
That's a lot of wine.
I'm a lot of boy. Sorry. Please continue.
What? Continue killing our sweet baby boy Darwin?
Yeah, Visser 3, in true Visser 3 fashion, pulls out the most diabolical, evil scheme, and I love this.
Can we also talk about how Eva notices that this is that Visser 3 is about to try to get her in a gotcha situation?
Yeah.
But Visser 1 does not notice this because, I fucking love that moment.
Yeah, go on. Tell us more.
Basically, Visser 3 is trying to goad Visser 1 into saying, no, you don't care about these children, right? You would kill them, right? This was just an experiment. This was just to figure out how humans work. Of course it was. So if in theory, you had one of those children in front of you, and let's say in theory you had a pistol on you, which is pretty good at killing humans, I hear, you would shoot this human, right? You would shoot this child of yours. That doesn't mean anything to you. And Eva is like, yo, you fucking dumbass.
Yeah.
He has your kid.
Yeah.
He's going to make you do this shit. And Visser 1 is like, of course I would shoot my child.
Yeah, I would kill my baby in a heartbeat. Are you kidding me?
Let me tell you, I happen to have one child here named Darwin. Maybe you've heard of him.
Yeah, they've got two. They had twins, Darwin the boy and Madra the girl.
Right, and I got Darwin here. And Darwin, you have something to say?
Please, mommy, will you shoot me in the heart?
Oh, Darwin, is that
Please,
true?
please take this gun and shoot me, mommy.
Oh, well, I guess, since he's here, Visser 1, would you do the honors?
You almost spilled that wine again.
I never spill wine. I only spill tea. And
Spill the wine. Shoot that kid. Sorry.
he always had some mighty fine wine, that Darwin.
Yeah. So we get this choice where Visser 1's like, I have this gun here. Perhaps you'd like to shoot your child through the heart.
Right, and so Visser 1 is actually torn up by this.
Yeah.
Visser 1 is not the brutal killer that we thought she was.
No, and it's a really hard sequence to read, especially if you've never read these books, because they hand Visser 1 the gun, and the child grabs the barrel of the gun and puts it right up to his heart. It's this beautiful, awful little scene where he's like, please, mommy, please shoot me.
Right, like looking up and staring at her eyes. It's like, you love me, don't you, mommy? You would kill me if you loved me.
Yeah.
And Visser
Child's
1
obviously a controller.
Yeah,
Just,
obviously.
Like, to put that there.
Yeah. The child is obviously has a yerk in there hitting all the sad buttons.
and Visser 3, again, brilliant. This is one of
Visser 3 is brilliant. People don't like Visser 3. This is why he's a great villain.
This is his masterstroke. Perhaps Visser 1 is unfamiliar with the operation of this weapon. It seems unlikely in the extreme, but just to refresh your memory, you pull the trigger, Visser. You pull the trigger. And like, Visser 1, oh, so good. Visser 1 is just like, okay.
I'm gonna do this.
Okay, I'm gonna kill Darwin.
I'm gonna do it. I have to do it.
Right. And she makes the choice, and
She chooses to do it.
right, and she's like about to do it, but then she sees something that Visser 3 does not see, and she's like, oh, this gun? You want me to shoot the gun now? Okay, because I'll do it right now.
I'm just a dumb yerk. I don't know how to operate such crazy earth. Yes.
And then in comes like, the fucking Animorphs.
The Animorphs show up.
They bust in.
Like,
In comes Tiger. Tiger kills a couple Hork-Bajir.
We
In comes
get-
a bear.
the two main villains of this series, Jake and Visser 3. No. Visser 1
I mean, you're not wrong.
and Visser 3. We see their two types of evil. Visser 3 is the overt, make you do the worst possible thing you can. And Visser 1 is the quiet schemer who understands what's really happening and manipulates everyone in the room. It's the two types of evil we have in this book. The god-awful, dramatic, I'm going to raise the planet and destroy everything. And then the subtle, manipulative, awful evil. And I love the dichotomy between the two that are both so beautifully represented in this book as just evil fuckers.
Yeah, and it's represented in this fight too, because Visser 1 does what Visser 1 needs to do, which is immediately takes the gun and shoots Rachel.
Yes.
Right? Because like this fight breaks out, all the Animorphs are running.
Rachel
So fun fact, she actually shoots Cassie.
That's
it's
right.
a polar bear.
Yeah, it's a polar bear, yeah.
Lassie bear,
She
But,
finally is something that is not going to go down in one hit.
Right. It's true to both characters. Visser 1 knows she has to try to attempt to kill the Andalites, and Cassie has to get shot. It's like true to both of their characters.
I mean, well, Marco was busy doing other things. He couldn't get dismembered, so.
Yeah. Well, he does eventually. Yeah, he does get stabbed. But Marco just hauls off and punches his mom.
Yeah, he busts in. He says a one-liner. I forget what. Hold on, I gotta figure out what this.
He's like,
one-liner-
"Fuck you, bitch! You dead, bitch! You're getting punched by a gorilla, bitch!"
No, he says this.
So Marco said to me, "Was this what you had in mind?" I nodded slightly. The gorilla, without turning its eyes away from me, slammed a cinder-blocked fist into the face of a Hork-Bajir guard. Then he knuckle-walled over to me. He drew back his fist, and a split second later, everything went black. He punches his old mom in the face.
Marco is gone. This is war now. Marco's gone.
Yeah.
Because
she's already broken, bones and shit.
Yeah. She looks like an actual Two-Face. She looks like Harvey Dent.
Yeah, got that weird eye. That eye was gross. Oof.
Yes, thank you for describing Harvey Dent as gross.
Wouldn't want to be him.
No. And then we get this reprieve. She wakes up behind a hologram.
I didn't just woke up to pain.
Yes, as we all do every day. I hate being over 30. I'll kill myself.
I'm under 30 and I still feel pain when I wake up. Sorry.
God damn you. You youngins.
Not by much.
So Marco kind of starts the negotiations, right?
He's sitting there cross-legged, human form. He's the only human form.
He's the only human form. The rest are, in their animal form. They're in a taxon tunnel. One thing that VISSER 1 knows, like, hey, this is a pretty sophisticated hologram you've projected around us. What's that all about?
We as readers know it's Eric King.
Yeah, he's just there, like, reading a book about, like, history or dumb shit.
But they gagged him because they didn't want him name dropping.
And, like, Marco says, like, listen, I know exactly what situation you're in. You need us. We have all the leverage. And if you can either slide right out of my mom's brain and we'll maybe consider throwing you back into the Yerk pool, or we crush your head like a grape. And, she said, VISSER 1's initially like, you won't kill your mother, Marco. I know you. You're clever, but you're not heartless. And then Marco dumps this line, which is, you know what it says on the New Hampshire license plate? And I shook my head, no. Access the memories, Marco said. My mom knows. We talk about it. At the time, I thought it was kind of corny, but the more we thought about it, it wasn't corny at all. It was inevitable. I access the memories. Live free or die? Live free or die, Marco echoed. My mother walks out here a free woman, or she dies. He doesn't mean it, I told Eva. Yes, he does.
You bitch. You fucking bitch. You stupid bitch.
I have to think Kathy Apples had a trip up to New Hampshire at some point and was just like, that phrase lived rent-free in her head for years. Because it comes up with Hork-Bajir, it comes up here.
She goes to the Safeway, but she doesn't have the club card, and so she's getting charged full price, and she's like, I'm going to walk out, live free or die. Just everything.
Nothing's greater than watching a Idaho license plate park right next to a New Hampshire one. Because the New Hampshire one is live free or die. The Idaho license plate is national potato maker of the world. I forget what it's like. It like has to do with potatoes.
Potatoes for all.
Yeah, and like it's such a dumb license plate.
It's terrible.
Marco's initial reaction of like, this is stupid was the correct one. Right?
But is it cool for children? Live free or die. Is that cool for children?
Yeah, probably it's cool for children.
Yes, which explains why we have so many like libertarians coming up here and thinking they're,
Yeah.
Oh, you mean in time in schools hitting on children? Yeah. It's like, you know that license plate? That's me.
It's something that sounds cool to children and dumb adults.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
because smart adults know you don't really live free.
Yeah,
there is no freedom.
Yeah, I was about to like make a.
If I had freedom, I wouldn't have to go to work.
Yeah.
I would sit in a river all day and masturbate all day long if I didn't have to go to work. But no, I have to pay bills. I can't just go into the Umpqua and just jack it for 12 hours straight and then go home and sleep on my body pillow.
I mean,
can't do that.
You could.
Oh, yeah, my day's off, and I do when I'm not here. But there's no freedom. We don't have... Humans think they have... especially Americans think they have free will. Do we have... Bug, do we have free will?
Fuck no.
Do you feel free ever?
I live in the live free or die state, and I do not feel free. No.
What is that? What is freedom? Anybody?
It's apparently going over to a river and jacking off.
Freedom is jacking off into a river all day long.
They call it the Freedom Jack. Much like the Union Jack, but you do it in a different location. Well, I think like it's a simple slogan when your brain is broken. Like it's something to latch onto. Like like I don't got much, but at least I got my freedom. Which
It doesn't mean anything. It's just a word.
It means
just a word.
Yeah, it means nothing. But like you hold on to it because you can trick yourself into thinking that it means more than it does. And so in this case, like I think that it's a convincing argument of just like it's like a madman's argument. It's like, all right, you know what? My mom's brain is as broken as mine, and she would rather die than be, held captive by you. It's like, yeah, you know what? Your mom is kind of crazy. She's been calling me crazy names here.
Yeah.
Names I won't repeat because I'm the pure sweet boy.
Yeah, if you want to hear those names, listen to the last 2 hours of this podcast.
But like, it's convincing enough. Like, oh shit, this family's insane. And I the best shot I have is just to leave. Ava will bite her tongue off given the opportunity.
Yeah.
She will take control of that one eye and drive me into a truck. It's not that they're brave, it's that they're crazy.
Yes.
So, okay, cool. Yeah, all right, I'm out. I'm gone. And VISSER 1 slides right out of that ear.
Yeah, and then there's an indeterminate amount of time.
By the way, one last thing that we didn't mention, which I thought was super important to the crazy conversation, is Ava says this: "You infested me at random, but I believe in higher powers, Yerk. I believe I was taken so that my son would grow strong and wise and someday destroy you. So says God." Right? Like, imagine that speech. Fuck, I gotta go. I'm out. I'm sorry.
I'm over it. I'm dead.
Well, yeah, it's like, if anyone, like, if somebody, like, holds you up at gunpoint and you're like, listen, what would your mom think? And, they get, like, sad and stuff. Like, okay, this is a person I can talk to. If somebody holds you at gunpoint and says, God tells me to kill you, you're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you're gone. There's no way.
Yeah, if I get held up and the person holding me up says, God told me to skin you alive, it's like, oh boy, I liked having skin.
Yeah, like, there's no doubt in my mind that this person is going to try to skin me alive if given the opportunity.
Yeah.
And so, like, yeah, this person, like, Ava, believes that it is her son's destiny to kill me.
Yeah.
It's wild. And so, like, yeah, she's out. She slides out. She's like, all my hopes, all my great dreams all come down to this pathetic hope, the mercy of two humans who hate me. And she feels brain. She feels an ear hole. She's like, oh, thank God. Oh, Slimin.
Yeah.
I don't want to die. I don't want to die. And she, like, slimes into that brain hole and, like, realizes they had a conversation.
Yeah. Ava explains to Marco, she's like, look, yes, you can kill me. That will be fine. But you need to know, if VISSER 1 dies, VISSER 3 wants to start an all-out war. He will start vaporizing cities. He will start destroying everything. If you leave VISSER 1 alive, VISSER 3 can't do that. If you leave VISSER 1 alive, you still have a chance to win this war.
Yes, hi, I'm Jake. I have 1 point. I want an all-out war.
Maybe the humans can win.
Response.
And it's...
Well, like, no, Jake actually brings up this point of, like, yeah, maybe we should just have an all-out war. Then we could, like, get some extra support here in this effort.
Yeah, his argument is basically like, well, if they are following VISSER 1's plan of, like, the subtle infiltration, that means they think that's working.
Mm-hmm.
So why would we not want the plan that they think won't work?
Right.
Which is that the only reason they're doing this subtle infiltration is to protect two very important humans, quote unquote.
Yes.
Which are Darwin and Madra.
Yeah.
We find out.
But like Ava gets a couple realizations from this conversation. Ava, VISSER 1. She says, by the Kendrona itself, the tiger was...
See, she's religious too. She's got no room to judge.
No, like, listen, even if you're not religious, you gotta swear by something.
By the Kendrona, I will have vengeance.
I mean, it's just the sun, right? The Kendrona's their son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Raw, you know?
You gotta have something.
Yeah. Ra the Kendrona god. Oh, Kendrone Ra.
Oh.
The tiger was human. Were they all humans? All but this lone Andalite? So she now knows everything.
She's figured it out. She's smart. She's fucking smart.
Right. But guess who isn't smart? The Animorphs. And they're like, because like they're like, listen, we record this whole thing. If you try to betray us, we'll tell on you.
Yeah, we'll go to mom.
We'll go to the council. We can do it.
We're gonna go to Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff. We're gonna tell Jeff right away.
And like they doubled down on their bad plan by saying, listen, not everyone in the Yerk Empire is super loyal, by the way. We can totally get to that Council of 13, selling out their allies within
They immediately sell out the Yerk freedom movement.
Right, just immediately selling that out. And
hey, hashtag not all Yerks.
I guess, yeah.
Ooh, episode title.
Oh no.
And like, so yeah, they're just like, listen, we got you. We're smart, you guys. And
we got you. We're smart.
And like, well, Visser One's like, okay, well, I'll catch you later. And they say, well, hold on, wait 1 second, we need to do this, and then slashes her down the chest, and,
wounding the shit out of her.
Yeah, just like tiger bites and scratches everywhere. And then leave her in this taxon tunnel to be discovered. And that's the end of that scene. And she wakes up in the courtroom again.
Yes. And
the court's like now back in session. It's like, okay, that's been taken care of. So let's just continue this whole your deposition here.
It's like, oh, we've already figured out what to do with you.
Yeah, we've already made our judgments. We just want to like learn more about what the hell just happened.
Yeah.
So Jorf says, what's his name? Gruff?
Gareth.
Jeff.
Okay. Gorf. He loves fishing. I caught it. They're good.
You caught your wine. Good for you. God, you are having so many wine troubles today.
It's Dorf, actually. Dorf is the one. Anyways, doesn't matter. And they're like, listen, finish your story. What happened to Allison Kim? Why are you in this body? And we get the description of what happened to Allison Kim and Henry?
Hildy.
Hildy's such a dumb name. I'm sorry. I don't like Hildy as a name. What happened between Allison and Hildy, right? And so what happened was they gave birth to twins.
Mm-hmm.
The twins got very sick.
Yeah.
And so Hildy took the twins to the hospital after the escape, right? And Allison was hunting after Hildy. And
fuck, we skipped a whole bunch.
No, I was just going to bring it up.
Well, this is how we tie it together, right? Is that this whole thing happened. Is that Allison and Hildy had a fight, right? Because they were both running out of Kandrona juice. They didn't have the energy to feed their Kandrona, so they had to make a decision of, okay, either we stay here and die and let Allison and Hildy take care of our children, right? Or we contact the Yerk Empire, get them to come down. We get refilled juice, and we're able to protect them from that side of the fence of the invasion side, and we'll keep that charade going on as long as we can. And Visser 1 is on the side of the Yerk Empire call.
Yeah,
like,
she's like, we're just gonna call home.
We're just gonna call home. I can still get that sweet promotion and side benefit. We all live.
Mm-hmm.
Living's pretty good. I like to live. Wouldn't you like to live, Hildy? And Hildy, again, the real hero of the story.
Essam.
Yeah, Essam. Not Hildy. Actually, really doesn't do much as far as we can tell.
He's a slave to the bottle.
Fresh bottle.
Yeah, he needs bottle. Hildy need bottle.
Hildy need bottle. Essam needs moral high ground, and he says, "No, I'm not going to sell out our children. Because who knows what's going to happen to our children if they ever find this out." And he leaves. He escapes. He puts them in the car, the dead night, and he drives away.
Like my
with
dad.
The kids.
Yeah, my dad did that, but he left the kids at home.
Yeah, and what Essam does here is that he is driving off into the desert to die for the sake of his children. So Allison is desperate to find her kids, right? Because she's a mother now.
Yes.
And so she becomes a super hacker, hacks the hospital database of the early 90s, and finds her kids that in the hospital because they've gotten very sick.
They got something called COVID-19.
They got
I think that was one of my post-it notes.
Yeah.
They got COVID-19 real bad, and they're on the respirators. It's real bad.
Nobody wakes up from respirators, you guys, just by the way.
The nurses, they're like, we should kill these children by putting them into tubes. And like, Allison was just like, no, I have intervectum. I have this horse drug. It will save them. I need to find them.
Yeah, I could have taken the children to the ship and produced the cure for COVID, which is ivermectin, the horse dewormer.
I have ivermectin on the ship. And so she goes there and she finds this desiccated, almost dead Hildy / Essam. Hildy.
He's going crazy from starvation.
Yes.
Basically.
Right, like he's just like collapsed in this hallway, right? And so there's a scene where
Collapsed in the hospital.
Collapsed in the hospital hallway because the rooms are full, but we don't talk about that.
Yeah.
He's in the hallway, and like Allison finds Hildy, and Hildy is just saying, like, take care of my kids, take care of the crew, and then like outslides this worm. And
part of the worm.
Well, outside's like, as far as Allison sees, here it slides this worm, and she like grabs the worm and pulls out her friend, her lover, who their only friend in the world, but it's only half.
Yeah.
And she has this half of a worm, and she looks at like this sad, pathetic worm, and puts her in the only place she can think of is her pocket.
Yes.
And she says,
so small are we, the Yerks.
Right, that we could fit inside of a normal human pocket. This means something, she says to herself and to the heavens. And she puts her friend in a pocket, and she puts the other hand in her other pocket. And she says, you know what? Sometimes life gives you a bad hand, gives you a bum hand. And all you do is just take what you're dealt, and you truck on, and you move on, and you just need to like give yourself up to a higher power. And she calls the Yerk Empire, and she says, higher power, come in here and take my brain, and just take my brain, and it'll be fine now. I'll be your leader. I'll lead the empire into this planet Earth.
We got a class 5, baby.
We got a class 5, baby. Okay, don't worry about it. Whatever you do, don't look for children. Because especially children here, they're poison to Yerks. You don't want to touch them. And the Yerk Empire says, "Oh, great. We're coming. We'll come in. We'll see you in a couple months. Cool. I'll get it ready for you." And so this is when we talk about the sharing.
Yes. So,
finally.
I'm just saying it was a dramatic moment. She was having a moment with Hessam.
Yeah, and Hildy gets the remains of Essam.
Tyler.
Hessam. Hell Essam. Stuck to his brain. Like parts of Yerk neuron intermesh with his brain, driving him insane and bottle loving. And
is that what causes the bottle loving? He is French.
No, human... I need butter. You can see the end of light, can you not? No.
They go out of the way to mention that he's French. I don't know.
They do. And she needs to give the Yerks proof that humans will give themselves up willingly. She knows that humans are strong, sometimes way too fucking strong, like Alice and Kim.
Yeah, we got to prove that they're not a class 4.
Yes. So she builds a grassroots movement cult
called Scientology.
Yes. Yeah. There's obviously some contempt for religion in this book, which
I think I think either Kathy Apples opened up a book that says how to start a cult. It's like, okay, this is the sharing.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it sounds like she did a little bit of research. Yeah. It has all the telltale signs, right?
She infests a guy.
A leader who has 3 names because humans love that.
Yeah. Humans love 3 named leaders. Donald John Trump, Joseph Robinette Biden, William Jefferson Clinton.
Lord David Eltman.
Yeah. So she does a bunch of writing. She's like, she gets these people to believe in this. I mean, it's like, she creates toxic positivity for these people. That's what the sharing is. It's toxic positivity. It's all that Pinterest bullshit. She loves them into infesting themselves with an alien species. And she she builds this movement saying, do you want to be more than you are? Do you want to be part of something greater? Do you want to give yourself some higher calling? Do you want to feel more than you've ever felt? Do you want to feel like you're a part of a movement? Do you want to make things better?
Oh man, makes me want to buy some like Nikes right now.
Hey, just do it.
Hail Bop.
Says Heaven's Gate away team.
39 to beam up.
Oh, that reminds me. Oh God, this awful joke. Do you want to hear it?
You know what? Shoot.
Okay. How do you know where to find cult members in your house?
I don't know.
You look under your sink behind the comet. You made the hail bop. You made the hail bop joke. It's a comet. People kill themselves because of comet. We're stupid.
Listen, let's just all put on our sneakers and go up heaven's chimney. And
Shaquille O'Neal's there. Those crazy kooks, Cain and Abel.
Well, I mean, like, okay, so Tyler, how would you describe a cult? Like, really?
I mean,
what's a cult?
Oh boy, why'd you pose this to me? I've been drinking wine.
Bug, how would you describe a cult?
Q.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
People like, really like people who are, I guess, indoctrinated into believing something so strongly that they're just not going to be. I guess that they would be like sacrificing relationships for it. I think that's like the actual definition.
Okay,
yes.
Let me like rephrase this. Like, who is attracted to joining a cult?
People who are tired of feeling powerless and helpless in a world where they have no power, and there's like impressionable people who are looking for answers to the great cosmic nihilism that pushes us down. When you look at people in a cult, you see people that have a mind that want something greater than themselves. They want to belong to something. They want to give voice to themselves and find answers to these horrible questions of what is really causing suffering? What is really causing the evils in the world? Is it because Hillary Clinton cut out a baby's brain in a pizza place? Could that be why I hate my job and I hate everything around me?
You mean Comet Pizza?
Comet Pizza, the address. No, it's people
people who can't accept how banal life is, right? Life is boring. Sorry. We were meant to like go be in danger from like tigers eating us half the time. And like now that we're, safe in our houses and food is provided for us and all this other safe shit, like you can't deal with it.
Yeah, it's like there's no answer as to why we have all of our needs met, but we're still unhappy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what answers does the sharing provide to that person?
It gives them a place to meet other people who feel the same way, that want to just, in as vague way as possible, make things better.
So like it sounds like the first step is like a community.
Yeah.
Build a community of people that are like you.
Yes.
Looking for some sort of answer to something.
Uh-huh.
You exploit like a direction of loneliness, basically. I mean, like I did look up a little bit about Scientology beforehand because like she very explicitly, or Kathy Apples very explicitly, I think, based this off of Scientology.
I
like
got
there's
that vibe.
tears and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And
So tell us about that.
basically, I mean, the main thing I read was, I mean, obviously Scientology, for all the listeners, is like a big money-making scheme.
Yeah, Scientology facts!
Scientology facts! And, I mean, it's very similar in that they kind of try to indoctrinate you, spread to your family members, spread to your friends from there. They have, like, tiers of knowledge and, like, importance, which is basically you paying a tithe to basically support the church. And in the sharing, like, that would make sense in terms of, like, well, you reach a certain tier within the sharing, not because you're paying money, but because you're contributing literally your physical body to something that's going to take it over.
Well, and here's where we learn like key facts about the sharing that I didn't know until like I read this book, which is that there's a inner and outer circle of the sharing. Like I knew that they're like eventually like they have a brain warming ceremony. Like we know that since like the first introduction of the sharing. But like this idea of like there being an outer circle who are not brain wormed and then the inner circle that are. and the eventual, like, you have to really want to be in that inner circle.
Yeah.
Like, because they're pretty explicit about it. And this is where we see our first introduction to the Warmaning, which is we have this guy who, the first person to be taken over, a human named Rich Huntley.
Yeah.
Rich Huntley desperately wants to be in the inner circle.
Desperately.
And so VISSER 1 says this. He says, Rich, I said, this is a yerk. And he shows Essam in a jar. To become a member of the inner sharing, you must allow me to put him in your ear. He will enter your brain and he will take over your life. He was nervous, afraid. But then I'm in, right? Rich says. Then I'm in the inner sharing, right? Right. Does it hurt? No. Okay, then, yeah. Let's just do it. Just put him in my ear. Put him in there.
Yeah, and she films all this, sends it to the Yerk saying, look, these idiots will trip over their dicks to join us. We have very little to do here.
So the thing that the author is postulating here about why people join the sharing isn't necessarily like looking for meaning. It's that they have given up on looking for meaning. Mm-hmm. They want to like they are submissive and breedable. No, it's like it's like they don't want to think anymore. They don't want to make fucking decisions anymore. Mm-hmm. They just want to hey, I want to be part of something greater, and you just take care of it for me. Okay, good, in you go. Which I don't like this interpretation of the sharing, and like. I think I don't like it is because it's not compelling. I think that ultimately people would recoil at this. No, I know of no person that would be like so willing to give up their identity to just be brainwashed. I mean, they're
nice and vague about it, right? Like, I feel like if
it was much better,
I think there is a pitch that can be made.
Oh, probably.
Right? That will absolutely be like, you know what? This person or like this being, right? Is going to deal with my taxes and my workplace and all my relationships and my laundry and all these other things. Like,
no, I
think there is a weakness to be exploited there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. In my darkest, most depressed moments, like feeling actively suicidal, you think, man, I could give all this up. What is more alluring than just retreating and letting something else do that for? Like, I get this pitch. I get it.
Yeah, but I don't. I think it's like it's not laid out to the extent that it needs to be laid out. The sharing was always more effective when it was a monster in the dark. But now that it's just kind of like we take you in the back room and show you the worm. I don't buy it.
Which is how all
I
great
think it's also played though that like this is like very specifically voluntary controllers though, right? Like so there are people who are like, oh god, gross, no, and then like I would assume like the moment that a yerk is revealed to you that like a Hork-Bajir just comes out of the closet and like holds you down and puts your head in the pool. Like, it doesn't matter what you actually decide about.
Yeah, please no Hork-Bajir come out and hold me down. Please never let that happen.
I just hope that, like, later on, like, there's a more compelling The Sharing story.
I mean, in the end, this is just Edris trying to sell humans to the Yerks, so it's going to be the most pathetic. Like, yeah, come on, Yerk me. Yeah, let's do it. Mm-hmm. Come on. Do you have bottle? I like bottle and lines.
Yeah. She just needed to prove it once, so you pick the dumbest motherfucker. True. Yeah, I mean, like, hey, we got like 2 chapters to sell this. So here we go.
So that's what it is. The sharing is an awful cult.
Yeah. And so they are reliving that history to kind of show like why it took 2 years. Is like, I also had to make the case here. What happened to Kim during this time? Allison Kim. Because
she tracks her down and kills her.
Yeah.
Oh, well, she escapes. She escapes first.
Allison Kim escapes because she's smart and badass.
Yeah, she was like tied to a radiator while VISSER 1 was starting the sharing, right?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, she found a way out of that radiator situation and ran off.
And Edris says, I just found her and I killed her. Like, that's it. That's what happens to Allison Kim.
Yeah.
And then
the details don't matter.
Even
though like they shared a rapport and probably were friends at the end of this.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, like Allison dies specifically because she comes back to the hospital when the kids are sick because she's trying to.
She wants to save the kids.
Snag the kids, from Visser 1's
like
grasp.
Q taught her to save the children, and that's what she's trying to do.
I mean, those are her own kids too, right? Like in a way, even though it was like a semi-non-consensual quadruple.
Yeah,
I never know how to label this thing.
It's a fourple.
Fourple.
It's fourple forever. Fourple for life. And so like that's the end of the trial.
Yeah. They're like, okay, we're gonna send you to another planet to infest this other place. And Visser 1's like, yes.
Well, okay, hold on, wait a second. No. Visser 1 is not yes.
Well, she knows she gets to live.
Visser 1 is yes.
Visser 1 is yes.
I get to live.
But Eva's like, no.
Well, let's read that.
I don't understand, I said. Are you ordering me to? You're too valuable to dispose of just yet. You remain the most successful military officer in the Empire despite your illegal and troubling methods. You are ordered to proceed immediately to the Anati system and take over the subjugation of her sentient race or races, and prepare to resist an Andalite attack. Succeed and you will live. Fail and... Eva's attack was sudden, wild, and unexpected. No, she cried with her own mouth. No, kill her, you have to. I clamped down hard on the speech centers and stifled her words. No, in Thoughtspeak. What's the matter, human? Sick of my company? A new planet, a chance to redeem everything. So she's like fucking thrilled that she's not dying.
And Eva's like, no, please kill this bitch.
Yeah, but I got the impression that she was also like torn up about, being... She wasn't like she's away from the planet of her kids, like because she really does care about Darwin and Madras.
Madra, yeah.
Madra. Yeah, like so there is something there, and she even comments on it later. Like,
someday she would know me. She's talking about Madra. I would tell Madra all about me, all about who I was, how she had come to exist, and she would love me as a daughter loves a mother. And if not, then I could always infest Madra, place some well-trained yerk in her head. Then she would love me. She'd have no choice. Yes, it was all going to work out fine. It was a great, big, lovely galaxy of opportunity.
So, like, in the end, it's crazy. Like, she doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Like, she still is somehow under the impression that, like, the yerk and the human brain are, like...
Well, she's
right?
like, oh, I'll simulate, mother, and
she has to do it. You have to love me.
Yeah, which I don't know. I felt that kind of cheapened it a little bit. I thought that she had some understanding of love at that point, and just like having the like a well-trained yerk will love me.
I mean,
like it's just.
Sure.
I would say that. Hildy. What's the other guy's name?
Essam
got it right.
Yeah,
like he was willing to die for his kids.
Yeah, and when it came push to shove, Edris chose the Yerk Empire over her children time and time again.
Chose herself over her children.
Yes.
I think that.
Which parents out there, you should do. Kids are stupid.
If kids are smart, they'll come along.
No, this is in character. This is an evil, ruthless fucking bitch, stupid. No, I'll stop.
No, you're right, though. Like, I think this is where, like, even a dumb child reading this book is like, this is a compromised narrator. I was not supposed to sympathize with this person.
Yeah, and and we were, in moments, we saw her ability to love, and then that ability is gone. Like, she's going to choose herself. She's going to choose being the head bitch in charge of the Yerk. She's like... That's what she wants. That's her child. And if her actual child won't listen to her, she'll get a subordinate to be her child.
And which is why the perfect host is Ava.
Go on.
Ava gave up on Marco.
Did she?
Yes.
100%. Oh, yeah. She's like, yeah, go ahead, kill me.
Well, no, like because like the thing that we kind of didn't talk about is, and I think like the kind of like the important scene here in this book is the negotiation between Marco and Ava of like, hey, Mom, you're free now. You can come home. We'll cover the tracks.
Yeah, we'll take care of it. We have friends with money.
Yeah, and her response is no. Like, sorry.
She chooses the war.
She chooses the war over her child.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, Marco needs Ava more than war.
No, you're right. It's we see Marco finally, like the true Marco come forth because he's able to interact with his mother.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And she chooses to say, like, no, you got to prioritize this instead. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah, there's the whole human race thing that we now have been burdened to protect. So, no, Marco, you have to go back to being dead inside to be a good soldier, and I have to like go back to being a parasitic.
Also dead inside.
I have to protect this planet from VISSER 3, so I have to go back.
So didn't VISSER 1 make the same choice?
Yeah.
So that's why they're, again, peanut butter and chocolate together at last.
Hey, you got your chocolate and my peanut butter.
Peanut butter on my chocolate.
What?
It's one of those things where
Reese's Puff cereal is candy for breakfast.
Yes, it's the most evil of cereals because, you can sympathize with VISSER 1 a little bit here. Is that like what's she gonna do? Really, she gonna go and pull the worm out of Darwin and Ava and Madra. Stupid names for kids. Parents out there, do not name your kids stupid names. But like, what's she gonna do? Really, take them off and run away? She knows the power of the Yeerk Empire. That's why she eventually gave in the beginning. Was that like, hey, listen, the Yeerk Empire is all encompassing, and we're dependent on them. Like, even if she gets away, she's still gonna need the sweet Kendrona, and so like, she made the best choice. Even though it was a choice that was above her, wasn't the best choice for her children necessarily. Because guess what? Fair. She could have just said, goodbye, I'm gonna die now, and just explode, and still find a way to save her children that way. Mm-hmm. Just send them off and, get them adopted into the wilderness somewhere. Make them be wolf children. I don't know. But there's a way out of it that doesn't include like her being a part of it, and that was probably the right moral choice, is just to be dead and save her children. And that's kind of the right moral choice for Marco's mom too, isn't it? Because if you're going to be a good mom, then the best thing for your kid is to make sure that the kid is not part of a war. And especially Marco is already kind of like feeling the effects, and there's no coming back where Marco's going.
So do you think like Eva's perspective is a little bit like, well, he's already ruined. Might as well throw him under the bus?
Well, maybe. Like, hey, yeah, probably. But like, even then, like, the moral, out, like the purely moral, not thinking like of one person, like, yeah, there's probably a way back. You could save Marco, but not anymore. Eva's thinking of the universe. Not about Marco.
And who's gonna think of Marco? Won't somebody please think of Marco?
Cassie will think of Marco.
Not his dad. Yeah. He's busy boning down some other lady.
Yeah. Nora Robinette's getting some dick thrown down her right now.
Yeah, get some really tangent angles in there.
Tangent angles?
Yeah.
What are those?
Well, you don't want them perpendicular. You can't have sex that way.
What?
The dick goes in a tangent angle to the vagina. I know how sex works.
Now I know he hasn't had sex.
They're not going to be parallel. They'll never touch.
Nate, what if I told you a penis could move around?
Yeah, make a tangent angle.
Oh, Jesus. Bug, what do you think of VISSER? How do you like this book? You think this is a good book?
This is personally my favorite book in the entire series. I think it does such a good job of exposing like Yeerk culture and like kind of the different mindsets that each individual Yeerk can kind of take with this. I think you have the extreme polar opposites. You have Essem and you have Edris, and I think like it makes a really good case for the fact that you can't just say all cops are Yeerks, unfortunately, or all Yeerks are cops or anything, because like there are a lot of interesting individuals in there. And like, I think there's just so much to think about in terms of like what a Yeerk could be in somebody's head, right? Like they could be a weird quadruple partner. Right. They could be a slave master.
Please,
they could be
a
all
fourple.
kinds of things. It's so they could be somebody who's just taking care of your laundry for you.
Right.
If that's what you negotiate, right? Like there's just a really interesting thing there for me. And
the biggest
this series has made me obsessed with like brainwashing stories, and I can't deal with it.
I mean, yeah, and I think a really clever narrative thing they do is that in most of these books, we do not get the Essam's point of view. We only hear about it secondhand. We only see the Avas and the evil fuckers taken over. The only time we get a nice Yeerk is, you know, they're evil at first, and then they come to some kind of peace, which is what happened with Aftran. Like, we don't get to see the benevolent Yeerk because the Yeerks are the villains. They're just all bad.
I think that this is also my favorite book.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Because you hate Afghanis and
you want like
wait, when did we mention Afghanis in this episode?
Sorry, that was because of all the recent Afghanistan news. I know he's a Kuwaitian.
It's a book about the nature of power.
We see all Middle Easterns are the same.
Honestly, like it's all related because like it's a book about the nature of power, right? And I think like that's an interesting conversation. Like, you know, it's a good take on like society and what it means to strive for power and what you give up to get power and what power actually means. I think that Visser 1 is a tragic character here because what is Visser 1 actually wanting? Like, is it power? Like, you know, because like I think she is an addict to power. Yeah. Right. Like, you know, I think Jenny Lyons is there for a reason.
Yeah, for sure.
And
they do call out. They say, Visser 1, you're addicted to being a host.
Yeah.
And it's one of the really best quotes. Like, this book has amazing quotes in it that you can pull out at any point, and that's one of the really great ones.
Yeah. Well, I think that they're just addicted to higher callings. They see themselves as the lead characters, not just in their life, but of the world of the and that's kind of the same way with Ava. I think Ava sees herself as the main character of the world now. She's been put onto the main stage of being like the head of an alien invasion. She's kind of feeling it, and that's why she gives up her only son. In order to take control of this, you know, epic story of her life, and instead now she can no longer like feel the human stories anymore. Like because the human stories are not like Alien Wars. You know, the human stories are I met my subordinate on a work trip and we fell in love and had a baby. That's the real human story, you know, and having that side story of, you know, about like falling in love and making a family, like that's, and then giving that up.
Yeah.
Right.
Like she's given and offered the best possible feelings and emotions you can experience as a human. True love. Feeling the love and completedness within yourself, creating a child, and having honest love, and she gives it away for power.
She gives it away for
having
power.
All the money of a Hollywood producer.
Yeah, all the money, love, feeling complete, knowing that the other person loves you, and you give it away for power.
Yeah, and people seek out power for many reasons, and I think that hers is power for power's sake, and that's interesting to think about, because like what does that mean? Is she just chasing power because she wants to be powerful? That's stupid.
Well, especially like what's the end point, right? She is Visser 1.
She's Visser 1, yeah.
Where more can you go from
There's
there?
a whole council.
She won't stop till she's Jeff.
So, there's a whole council, and did you know there's a fucking evil eye out there?
Yeah.
Like, shit, you can be an evil eye. Why don't you just go out and be a fucking evil eye? That sounds cool. That's the most power, you know? And like, but like, you know, chasing after power without a reason is addictive behavior. You're chasing the dragon. You know, you're never going to get the same amount of enjoyment from chasing after the same like power that way, because like, you know, it's people chase out power for safety or for, you know, meaning, you know, or levers of like, you know, really chasing after their dreams. You know, that's why like people go and chase after power. But like she's just doing it to like stick money in her ears and go, you know, like it means nothing. And that's why this is a sad story.
So you think this book is effective in what it does?
Accidentally.
Oh God.
You know, like that chapter fucking pissed me off.
Yeah.
And it's something that's going to stick with me throughout the rest of these books.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things where it's just like...
Oh, man, there's something much worse coming.
I believe it. This book has bad things and good things about it, and hey...
Well, we will revisit this at the end of the series.
Sure.
Because the real question is this badness so bad that it undoes the rest of the helpful good things?
Sure.
Who can say?
Nothing's pure. It made me mad.
Yeah, and I think
that's fair.
And I think it's honestly a valid and really strong critique of the series because it is unforgivable and gross.
Well, it's forgivable, but you need to apologize first.
Right. Mm-hmm. I'll tweet at Michael Grant now.
I'm sorry to say, I think you would have to go to Kathy Apples for it. I think this book was very clearly mostly written by her. So the things that come through, like, we gotta attribute it to her.
It's
a book about moms.
It is a book about moms and fourples, and it's complicated and messy. And honestly, if you're listening and you haven't read this book, I think you should.
It's good. I guess I am recommending it. It has complicated my feelings about Animorphs. The status, it's complicated, much like a fourple.
Indeed.
You think they were in a fourple?
I think after they talk to us, they're going to want to be.
He likes the bottle. Remember, he likes the fresh bottle.
Baby love bottle. We did actually drain this bottle.
We did drain.
I'm empty.
Yeah.
Our bottle is gone. We need bottle.
Yeah, if we don't end this podcast soon, I'm gonna get the shakes.
Baby need bottle.
Bug. Do you want people to find you?
Sure.
You don't have
can find
to.
Me on. Yeah, I mean, if they put in the work and they do, that's you win. I post art sometimes, usually not.
Yeah, Bug is a fucking fantastic artist. If any of you have bought a Nothlit t-shirt, that is Bug's design 100%. I tweeted one day to buy us smoking a joint with the phrase Nothlit on it, and this wonderful human being jumped into my DMs with that picture, and I was like, oh my God. Oh my fucking God.
It's tragic too, because you know that if Tobias was human, he would be chewing all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, can you picture exactly who Tobias would have been if he'd grown up normal? Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Cool guy living on a couch all the way.
And to extol the virtues of Bug a little more, because I wasn't done.
Oh no.
It was all a compliment.
No. Bug designed the Morphers of the World Unite thing.
Yeah.
Which, beautiful. But most importantly, I'm going to spill this tea right now.
Oh, dear.
When we did our Christmas special with Chris Grine, Bug drew Nate and myself with all the Animorphs with our tagline for the episode, and I sent that to Chris Grine. And Chris Grine said, oh my God, I'm glad they hired me, because if they hired that person, wow, they are super fucking talented. So Bug, you are fantastic. I thank you with all of my fat irony poisoned heart. Genuinely, thank you for everything you've contributed. This has been an absolute joy. And
thank you. I love your guys' podcast. This has been such a delight to listen to. I cannot tell you guys enough how enjoyable it's been to have you in my ear while I'm out gardening all the time.
Which you do a lot of it. So,
I should say, so I post sometimes art. Very, very rarely. It's 90% of the time going to be gardening photos, so I don't even know if people want to find me.
No, we're thankful to have found you and that you found us. And genuinely, thank you for being here. This is a deranged one where I think I was a little too much, which, you know what?
Never.
I apologize, Nate. Don't cut any of it out. Yeah, so if the people want to find you, they'll find you. If not, you know what? Fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck all you people listening. Fuck all of you. I don't need any of you.